I watched my wife enter the hotel room on my phone screen, thinking she was at book club. She dropped her wedding ring on the nightstand, the one I'd designed specially for our anniversary. The man waiting for her wasn't a stranger. It was someone who ate dinner at our house every Sunday. But the worst part wasn't the betrayal I was witnessing. It was when she looked directly at the hidden camera and smiled, saying 5 words that made my blood freeze. "Did you increase his dose?" That's when I realized my wife wasn't just cheating on me. She was trying to kill me. Before we begin, let me know where you're tuning in from down in the comments. And if you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next tale. Chapter 1. The dashboard clock glowed 7:47 p.m. as I sat in my BMW, parked across from the Biltmore Hotel. My hands were steady on my phone, but my wedding ring caught the streetlight, mocking me. 14 years of marriage, and it all came down to this moment watching my wife through a hidden camera app I'd installed last week. The feed was crystal clear. Too clear. Emma entered the penthouse suite like she owned it. Her burgundy dress, the one I'd bought her for our anniversary, hugging curves that hadn't been meant for me in months, maybe years. Weston Rodriguez was already there, lounging against the mahogany headboard like some discount romance novel cover, his construction-tanned chest bare. "You're late, baby," his voice crackled through my earbuds. "Traffic," Emma laughed, that tinkling sound that used to make my chest tight with love. Now it felt like ground glass in my ears. Besides, anticipation makes everything sweeter. I watched her hands, those hands that had held our daughter Callie as a baby, that had worn my ring with pride, slowly unzip her dress. The wedding ring I'd designed specially, with tiny sapphires spelling out "forever" in Morse code along the band, clinked as she dropped it on the nightstand. The sound was like a gunshot in the quiet car. "Come here, Mrs. Anderson," Weston growled, and something in the way he said my name, the way he emphasized it, told me this wasn't just about sex. This was about conquest, about taking what was mine. Emma crawled across the bed toward him, actually crawled, and my stomach churned. This was the same woman who'd called certain acts degrading when I'd suggested them on our honeymoon. The same woman who said she needed the lights off, who needed to feel respected. But respect, apparently, was just for husbands. "You know what I want?" Weston said, gripping her hair. "Anything," she breathed. "Anything you want." And then she did things I won't describe, things that would have made younger me jealous but now just made me feel empty, like watching strangers through a window. Except one stranger wore my ring, had my name, slept in my bed. I took screenshots methodically. Evidence. My lawyer would need evidence. "God, you're so much better than him," Emma gasped between acts that would make a porn star blush. "Liam doesn't even touch me anymore." Lie. I'd tried last week. She'd had a headache. "Soon you won't have to pretend," Weston said, pulling her up to face him. "Once Liam's gone, everything will be ours. The house, the money, the whole Anderson empire." My finger froze over the screen. Gone? Emma straddled him, her back to the camera, but I could hear her clear as day. "The monthly payments from his trust fund alone are worth more than your construction company makes in a year." "Our construction company," he corrected. "Once you're a widow." She laughed again, but darker this time. "God, I can't wait. Do you know how exhausting it is? Playing the perfect wife, making his coffee every morning, pretending to care about his boring work stories?" "Just a little longer, baby. The plan's working perfectly." She moaned, moving against him. "Tell me again what we'll do with the money." "First, we'll buy that yacht you wanted, sail to Monaco. Then..." But I wasn't listening anymore because Emma had just said 3 words that changed everything. 3 words she hadn't said to me in 2 years, not even when I'd begged to hear them, not even when I'd asked what was wrong with us. "I love you," she moaned to Weston Rodriguez. And then, as my world tilted off its axis, she added something that made my blood turn to antifreeze. "Did you increase his dose like we discussed?" Chapter 2. My hand was steady at 6:15 a.m. as Emma hummed in our kitchen, grinding fresh coffee beans. The same routine for 5 years, her little morning ritual that I used to find endearing. Now, watching her measure the grounds with scientific precision, I saw it differently. "Morning, honey," she chirped, not turning from the machine. She wore my old Columbia University shirt, playing the role of devoted wife to perfection. "Sleep well?" "Like the dead," I said, sitting at our marble island. If she caught the irony, she didn't show it. The coffee maker gurgled. Outside our Providence Estates windows, frost covered the October lawn. Everything looked normal, peaceful, like 1,000 other mornings, except for the thermos hidden in my briefcase. "I'm adding extra cream today," Emma said, her back still to me as she reached for the upper cabinet. "You've been looking tired lately. The calcium will help with energy." Calcium. Sure. She turned with my favorite mug, World's Best Dad. Callie had painted it in third-grade steam rising from the dark liquid. Her smile was practiced, reaching her eyes just enough to seem genuine. She'd gotten better at lying. Or maybe I'd just started paying attention. "Thanks, babe." I lifted the mug to my lips, letting the heat warm my face, then pretended to sip. "Perfect as always." She watched me for a moment, hazel eyes tracking the mug's movement. "Drink it while it's hot. You know how you hate cold coffee." Just letting it cool a bit, I grabbed my phone, scrolling through fake emails. "Johnson wants those reports by noon." She turned back to make her own cup regular. No special additions. "Don't work too hard. You've seemed stressed lately." Stressed. That's what she called it when I'd started losing weight 3 months ago. When the fatigue hit like a truck every afternoon. When my hands started shaking during dinner. "I'll be fine," I said, fake sipping again. "Probably just need vitamins." "I'll pick some up today," she said quickly. Too quickly. "The organic ones from Whole Foods you like." When she finally left to shower, I poured the coffee into my thermos, then rinsed the mug and made a show of leaving it in the sink. The thermos joined 6 others in a hidden compartment in my trunk, each labeled with dates and times. The drive to East Providence took 40 minutes. Not the corporate lab our company used too many questions. This was a private facility, discreet, the kind that didn't ask why a millionaire needed coffee tested for toxins. Dr. Marcus Webb didn't look up when I entered his office. We'd been through this routine before. "Same tests?" he asked, pulling on nitrile gloves. "Same tests." I handed him the week's collection. 7 thermoses, 7 mornings of Emma's special coffee, 7 potential attempted murders. "Rush job?" "If possible." He nodded, understanding. In his line of work, you learn not to ask questions. But after 3 weeks of tests, I could see the concern creeping into his professional demeanor. "Mr. Anderson," he said carefully, "if these results are what I suspect they'll be, you need to involve law enforcement." "Soon," I promised. "I just need confirmation." 2 hours later, sitting in my car in the lab's parking lot, I read the results. My hands, steady through everything else, finally shook. Arsenic, 12 milligrams per sample average. Cumulative effect, severe toxicity, timeline at current dosage, fatal within 68 months, symptoms consistent with chronic arsenic poisoning, fatigue, weight loss, peripheral neuropathy, 3 months. She'd been poisoning me for 3 months. I drove home on autopilot, the report burning in my briefcase. Emma's car was gone book club according to the kitchen calendar. But I knew better now. Weston's construction site was 12 minutes from the library. Our bedroom smelled like her perfume Chanel No. 5. I'd bought it for Christmas. I installed the first camera in the air vent, tiny, motion-activated, another behind the mirror, one in her walk-in closet. Then I found it. The burner phone was hidden in her tampon box, clever. She knew I'd never look there. A cheap Android, password protected. But she'd used Callie's birthday. Sloppy. Or maybe she just thought I was too sick, too tired, too trusting to check. The messages loaded. Weston, did you give it to him? Emma, every morning, he drinks it all. Weston, good girl, how's he looking? Emma, weaker, lost maybe 15 pounds. Weston, perfect, keep going. I scrolled down, bile rising in my throat. Weston, tonight increase to 15 row. Emma, isn't that dangerous? Weston, that's the point, baby. The paralysis should start soon. Then we can get him to sign everything. Power of attorney will change his life insurance. He'll be too sick to resist. Emma, God, I can't wait to be free. Weston, soon, Mrs. Rodriguez. Emma, I love how that sounds. The last message was from an hour ago. Weston, tonight. 15 me. No backing out now. We're too close. I photographed everything, backed it up to 3 different clouds, then placed the phone exactly as I'd found it. Downstairs in my home office, I called my lawyer. Andrew, it's Liam. I need you to review my will. Specifically, what happens if I die under suspicious circumstances. Liam, what's going on? Just humor me. Also, I want to set up a trust. One that Emma can't touch. Ever. This is serious. Dead serious, I said, then laughed at my own horrible joke. Can you meet tonight? Of course. Liam, should I be worried? I looked at the coffee maker through my office door, gleaming and innocent in the afternoon light. Not about me, I said. Not anymore. Chapter 3. The Town Line Diner sat on Route 6 like a relic from the 50s, all chrome and neon promising pie and coffee that wouldn't kill you. At midnight, it was mostly truckers and insomniacs, perfect for meetings you didn't want witnessed. Jeremiah Miller looked exactly like a private investigator should: rumpled suit, 3-day stubble, eyes that had seen too much. He'd already ordered coffee. Black, safe. Mr. Anderson, he said, not getting up. You look like hell. Arsenic poisoning will do that. I slid into the booth across from him. His eyebrows rose slightly, the most emotion he'd shown. That explains the rush job on Rodriguez. What did you find? He pulled out a manila folder, thick with documents. Weston Rodriguez isn't who he claims. Born Wesley Martin in 1975, Providence General. Mother, Margaret Martin, worked as a secretary at Anderson Industries, my father's company. The pieces were starting to connect. Father's listed as unknown on the birth certificate, Jeremiah continued. But Margaret was working directly for your father then. And get this, she quit suddenly in March 1976, right after Wesley was born. Moved to Miami with a suspicious severance package. How suspicious? $50,000 in 1976 for a secretary who'd worked there 2 years. I did the math. That was almost 300 grand in today's money. Hush money. You think Archer was the father? I know he was. Jeremiah slid a photograph across the table. This is from the company Christmas party, 1974. The black and white photo showed my adoptive father, younger, his hand on a pretty brunette's waist. Margaret Martin. The way they looked at each other said everything. There's more, Jeremiah said. Wesley legally changed his name to Weston Rodriguez when he was 18, his stepfather's name, but Rodriguez never formally adopted him. Then, 3 years ago, right after your father died, Weston had a DNA test done. He showed me the results. Probability of paternity, 99-97%, Archer Anderson. He's my brother, I said, the words tasting like ash. My father's biological son. Half-brother, technically. And he's known for 3 years. Since right before he started fucking my wife. That's not a coincidence, Jeremiah agreed. I found his journal. He's been planning this since discovering the truth. The journal entries were photocopied, Weston's angular handwriting filling pages with rage and calculation. March 15, 2021. The DNA confirmed it. Archer Anderson was my father. That bastard paid my mother to disappear while his adopted golden boy got everything. The company, the houses, the name. Everything that should have been mine. April 2nd, 2021. Found her. Emma Anderson. Liam's pretty little wife. Unhappy from what the country club gossips say. Liam works too much, doesn't appreciate her. Perfect. April 20th, 2021. Met Emma at the charity gala. She practically melted when I complimented her dress. So easy to manipulate. Mention how Liam doesn't appreciate her, and she spreads her legs like a whore. May 15th, 2021. She's in love with me. Thinks we're soulmates. Told her Liam doesn't deserve her, doesn't deserve any of what Archer gave him. She agrees. She'll do anything I ask now. Anything. June 1st, 2021. Suggested the arsenic. Small doses. She was horrified at first, but I convinced her it was the only way we could be together. The only way to get what's rightfully mine. She bought it yesterday. We start tomorrow. My hands clenched the table edge. We need to get into his house, tonight. That's breaking and entering. That's justice. I pulled out a roll of cash. 10 grand, plus another 10 when we find what we need. Jeremiah pocketed the money. He's with your wife tonight. Riverside Motel, room 237. We have maybe 2 hours. Weston's house in Cranston was new money trying to look old columns, circular driveway, security system he probably thought was impressive. Jeremiah disabled it in 30 seconds. Upstairs office, he whispered, based on the lights I've tracked. The office was a shrine to resentment. Articles about Anderson Industries covered one wall, photos of my father at various stages of success, and in the center, a photo I recognized Archer holding me at my adoption ceremony, both of us smiling. Someone had drawn a red X through my 5-year-old face. Subtle, I muttered. The safe was behind a painting of Providence Harbor. Jeremiah had it open in minutes. Inside, more DNA tests, Margaret's letters to Archer, and a will. Archer's real will, not the one I'd seen. This mentions biological children, I said, reading quickly. If found, they receive equal shares. Making Weston a billionaire, Jeremiah noted. If you're dead... A car door slammed outside. Shit, Jeremiah hissed. He's back early. We heard the front door, footsteps, then a woman's voice. Not Emma. I know why you're here. Tegan Rodriguez stood in the doorway, Weston's wife, looking nothing like the grieving spouse she should be. Blonde, surgical precision to her beauty, cold eyes that had seen too much. Your husband's fucking my wife, I said simply. I know. She stepped into the office, closing the door behind her. He's fucking a lot of people's wives, but that's not the worst thing he's done. She moved to the desk, pulled out a hidden drawer I hadn't noticed. Inside were more photos, more documents. He killed someone, she said quietly. A girl, Sarah Winters. She was 17, pregnant. He gave her pills, told her they were for morning sickness. Fentanyl, she overdosed last month. The police ruled it suicide. She handed me a photo. A young girl, bright smile, whole life ahead of her. Why haven't you gone to the police? With what proof? He's careful, always has alibis, always pays cash, but you. She looked at me with something like hope. You have resources and motivation. What do you want? Him destroyed, completely, publicly. I want him to lose everything like Sarah did, like I did when I found out who I married. Downstairs, the front door opened again. That's him, Tegan said calmly. He forgot his Viagra. Can't perform without it anymore. Steroids shrunk his balls and his conscience. We need to go. No, she said. Stay. Hide in the closet. You need to hear this. Before I could protest, Weston's voice boomed up the stairs. Tegan, you home? In your office, honey, she called back, her voice shifting to something sweeter, faker. She whispered to us, closet, now. Jeremiah and I crammed into the walk-in closet just as Weston entered. Through the slats, I could see him, my half-brother, my wife's lover, my would-be killer. He looked like Archer around the eyes. How had I never noticed? What are you doing in here? He asked Tegan. Looking for evidence of your affairs, she said simply. Found it too. Tegan, I know about Emma Anderson, about the teenage girls, about everything. He stepped toward her, menacing. You don't know shit. I know you're poisoning Liam Anderson. I know Emma's doing it for you, and I know why, because you're Archer's bastard, and you want what he never gave you. The slap was loud in the quiet room. Tegan's head snapped back, but she laughed. Hit me again, she said. Please, the cameras I installed last week would love that. Weston froze. That's right, she continued, touching her reddening cheek. I've been recording everything, every conversation, every phone call. Like the one last week where you told Emma what was it. Once Liam's dead and I have his money, I'll get rid of you too. Maybe make it look like murder-suicide. Guilty wife kills husband, then herself. You're lying. She pulled out her phone, hit play. Weston's voice filled the room. Emma's so pathetic. Thinks I love her. Once Liam's dead and I have his money, I'll get rid of her too. Maybe make it look like murder-suicide. Guilty wife kills husband, then herself. Poetic justice for the grieving widower to find. The silence stretched like piano wire. What do you want? Weston finally asked. A divorce, everything you own, and you stay away from the Anderson family. Fuck you. No, Tegan smiled. Fuck you. You have 48 hours to decide. After that, this goes to the police, and to Liam Anderson. Weston stormed out. We waited 10 minutes before emerging. Thank you, I told Tegan. Don't thank me yet, she said, pulling out a drive. This has everything. Audio, video, documents, but there's something else you need to know. She handed me a final photo. Weston with a young woman, barely 18. That's Juniper Mills, your neighbor's daughter. She's been missing for 2 weeks. Last seen with Weston. Tegan's voice broke slightly. I think he killed her too, just like Sarah. Chapter 4. Tegan poured herself 3 fingers of Weston's bourbon, her hand steady despite the bruise darkening on her cheek. We'd moved to the living room, all white furniture and no soul, like a magazine spread about emptiness. I've been documenting everything for 2 years, she said, opening her laptop. Started when I found out about the first affair. Thought it was just about divorce leverage. Then I realized what he really was. The screen filled with folders, meticulously organized by date and woman. Emma's folder was the largest. 300 hours of video, Tegan said, clicking through files. Your wife's quite the performer. I didn't want to watch, but I needed to see. Emma with Weston in hotels, cars, our bed while I was at work. But it wasn't the sex that gutted me. It was the pillow talk. Listen to this, Tegan said, playing an audio file from 2 weeks ago. Emma's voice. I feel guilty sometimes. Liam's not a bad man. Weston. He's weak, always was. Archer knew it too. Why else would he adopt some random kid instead of having his own? You sound like you hate him. I hate what he represents. The chosen son. The lucky orphan who got my life. Your life? Nothing, just... I should have had his opportunities. His education. His name. Emma laughed. Well, soon you'll have his money. That's better than a name. Our money, Weston corrected. Though honestly, once the estate transfers and I establish the biological claim, I won't need you anymore. What? Kidding, baby. Come here. The recording ended with sounds I'd heard too many times already. He doesn't love her, I said unnecessarily. He doesn't love anyone, Tegan corrected, including me. Want to know how I know? She pulled up another folder. Medical records. We tried for kids for 3 years. I thought it was me. Spent $30,000 on fertility treatments. Then I found this. A vasectomy report from 2018. Weston had been sterile our entire marriage, letting Tegan blame herself. But that's not the worst part, she continued, pulling up another document. This is from a Miami clinic, 1999. He had it reversed for 6 months, then redone. Why? To get a girl pregnant. Carmen Valdez. She was 16. He was 24. Tegan's voice was clinical, detached. She died in childbirth. The baby, too. His mother, Margaret, paid off the family. Jesus. There's a pattern. Young girls, usually from poor families. He gets them pregnant, they disappear. Sarah wasn't the first. She showed me a list. 7 names. 7 girls. I've tried connecting them all, but the trail goes cold. Either paid off or... dead. Yeah. She opened another folder. Archer Anderson. Your father knew about Weston. These are letters between him and Margaret dating back to 1975. I read them, my father's precise handwriting familiar even after 8 years. Margaret, the boy, is provided for. $5,000 monthly until age 18, then a lump sum of $500,000. This is more than generous for one night's mistake. Do not contact me again. Archer. Your mistake has a name. Wesley deserves to know his father. M. Margaret. You have a wife. I have a reputation. The boy has a trust fund. Everyone wins if you stay away. Archer. I'm pregnant again. Twins this time. Same father. M. The last letter made my blood stop. Twins? I asked. That's what I thought too, but there's no record of a second baby. Either she lied or the other twin died, or was adopted out. I thought of Emma. No family history beyond her adoptive parents. Jesus, what if I had the same thought? Tegan interrupted. So I did some digging. Emma's adoption records are sealed, but her birthday, March 15th, 1976. Same as Weston's. The room spun. You're saying Emma might be Weston's twin sister, your father's daughter, your half-sister-in-law fucking your half-brother. I ran to the bathroom, barely making it before the dry heaves hit. Tegan followed, handing me a towel. "There's more," she said quietly. "I have video from last week. Weston meeting with someone. A professional." Back at the laptop, she pulled up grainy security footage from a parking garage. Weston handing an envelope to a man in dark clothes. "That's Tommy Volkov, ex-military, does wet work for the Providence mob. That envelope had 20 grand and your photo. He hired a hitman. For next Tuesday, during Callie's school play, Emma's supposed to text when you leave the house. They'll make it look like a carjacking gone wrong." I stared at my daughter's photo on my phone. She had Emma's eyes but my stubborn chin. What would they tell her after I was dead? "Why are you helping me?" I asked Tegan. She was quiet for a moment, then pulled up one last video. Her and Weston in bed from a month ago. He was passed out, but she was talking to the camera. "Because I'm pregnant," she said on the recording. 5 months now. And it's not his. He had a vasectomy, remember? It's Marcus Webb's. I blinked. My toxicologist? Small world. We met when I was having Weston's sterility tested at his lab. Marcus is brilliant, kind, everything Weston isn't. He doesn't know about the baby yet. I wanted to be free first. So you need Weston gone as much as I do. More, she said firmly. You just want justice. I want to burn his entire world down and salt the earth. I want him to lose everything: his money, his reputation, his freedom, his mind. I want him to suffer like those girls suffered. And Emma? She's your problem. But if you're interested. Tegan smiled, sharp as winter. I have some ideas about that too. She handed me a flash drive. Everything's on here. Videos, audio, documents, contact information for the girls' families. Enough to bury them both. What about the incest angle, if Emma's really his sister? DNA test would confirm it. I can get Weston's sample easily. You'd need Emma's. Her hairbrush. Tonight. Perfect. Tegan stood, smoothing her designer dress. One more thing. Your father's will, the real one Weston has? It has a morality clause. Any biological child convicted of a felony forfeits their inheritance. Attempted murder qualifies. How do you know about the real will? She smiled again. Your father's lawyer, Andrew Davis? He's been waiting 8 years for someone to ask the right questions. He can't break privilege, but if you ask about specific clauses. He can confirm or deny? Exactly. Go see him. Tonight. Ask about the morality clause and the biological children provision. As I stood to leave, Tegan caught my arm. Liam? They're planning to increase the dose tomorrow. Emma's getting impatient. Don't drink anything she gives you. I haven't in weeks. Good. Also. She hesitated. Check Callie's food, too. I heard Weston say something about insurance in case you survived. He might target her next. The rage that filled me was ice cold, absolute. If they touch my daughter, they won't, Tegan said firmly. Because we're going to destroy them first, completely, publicly, and legally. They're going to wish the arsenic had worked. I left through the back door, Jeremiah waiting in the car. As we drove away, I saw Weston's BMW pulling into the driveway. He got out, adjusting himself, Viagra working apparently, and headed inside to the wife he didn't know was planning his destruction. Where to? Jeremiah asked. Andrew Davis's house. Then home to get Emma's hairbrush. Then we plan a war. You know this is going to get ugly. I thought of Callie, of the poison in my coffee, of Emma in Weston's arms calling him daddy while planning my murder. It already is ugly, I said. Now we make it public. Chapter 5. 6:43 p.m. I sat at our dining table watching Emma glide through our kitchen like a dancer who'd memorized every step. She wore the black cocktail dress I'd bought her in Boston last year, the one that made her legs look endless. Her hair was up, showing the diamond earrings I'd given her for our 10th anniversary. Smells amazing, I said. And it did. Rosemary chicken, her mother's recipe. The same meal she'd cooked for our first date in her tiny apartment, back when we were both young and actually in love. Your favorite, she smiled, bending to check the oven. The move was deliberate, the dress riding up just enough. Though you haven't been eating much lately. Are you feeling okay? Better today, actually. I kept my voice level, casual. Maybe those vitamins are helping. She straightened, studying me. You do look better. More color in your face. Because I hadn't drunk her poison in 5 days. But she didn't need to know that. Her phone buzzed on the counter. She glanced at it, smiled that private smile that used to be for me, then typed quickly. In the microwave's reflection, I caught fragments. He seems better. No, same dose. Later tonight. Who's that? I asked. Mom, she lied smoothly, asking about Thanksgiving plans. Her mother had been dead for 3 years. I'd given the eulogy. Tell her we'll host, I said, playing along. Like always. Emma brought the plates over, setting mine down with practiced care. The chicken looked perfect, crispy skin glistening. The asparagus was precisely arranged. The mashed potatoes formed a perfect peaked mountain, Instagram-worthy, deadly probably. Wine? She offered, already pouring my favorite Malbec. Sure. She turned to get her glass and I switched our plates. Quick, smooth, like a magic trick. When she returned, I was cutting into my chicken. This is perfect, Em, I said, taking a bite. You've outdone yourself. She sat across from me, raising her wine. To us. To us, I echoed, watching her cut into her own food. She took a bite, then another. No hesitation. So the chicken was safe, which meant. I looked at my wine glass, the red liquid catching the light. Actually, I said, standing, I forgot the salt. In the kitchen, I knocked over the salt shaker oops, and while cleaning it up, swapped our wine glasses. Emma was checking her phone again, not paying attention. Everything okay? I asked, sitting back down. Perfect, she said, taking a sip of her wine. Just like this evening. Remember our first dinner together? I asked, watching her drink. That tiny place in Federal Hill? God, we were so poor, she laughed, but it was genuine this time. You paid with quarters from your car's cup holder, and you pretended not to notice. I thought it was sweet. You were trying so hard to impress me. Did it work? For a moment, her mask slipped. Yeah, it did. We ate in comfortable silence, the kind we used to have before everything went wrong, before Weston, before the poison, before the lies stacked up like corpses between us. Liam, she said suddenly, if something happened to you, what would you want me to do? I kept cutting my chicken. What kind of something? I don't know. Just, if you were gone, would you want me to remarry? Are you planning on me going somewhere? She laughed, but it was nervous. No, of course not. We never talk about these things. We should have plans. Life insurance, wills, that stuff. Andrew has all that handled. But I should know about it. As your wife. As my wife, I agreed. You should know a lot of things. Her phone buzzed again. This time I saw the whole message in the wine glass's curve. Stop playing with him. Increase the dose or I'll finish it myself. Important? I asked. Just book club. They moved tomorrow's meeting. I thought book club was Thursdays. We changed it. Too quick. Reading schedule conflicts. What book are you reading? The new Gillian Flynn. Gillian Flynn hadn't published a book in 3 years. Sounds thrilling, I said. What's it about? Marriage, she said, meeting my eyes. How well we really know the people we sleep next to. Sometimes we don't know them at all. The grandfather clock in the hall chimed 7. Callie would be home from soccer practice soon. Speaking of Callie, Emma said, as if reading my thoughts, I was thinking about her future. She's 14. But if something happened to you, to us, who would take care of her? Why are you so focused on death tonight? She shrugged, playing with her wedding ring. The ring she'd left on Weston's nightstand 2 nights ago while fucking him. I just think we should be prepared. Maybe update our life insurance. You know, make sure she's protected. From what? From uncertainty, from being alone. She wouldn't be alone. She has us. But if she didn't... Emma! I set down my fork. What are you really asking? She was quiet for a moment, then looked up with tears in her eyes. Actual tears. She'd gotten good at that, too. I'm scared, she whispered. You've been so sick lately. What if it's something serious? Like what? I don't know. Cancer, maybe. You've lost so much weight. Have you been Googling my symptoms? Yes, she admitted, which was probably true. Had to make sure the arsenic was working properly. And they all point to bad things. I reached across the table, took her hand. It was cold, trembling slightly. Method acting or genuine fear that I was on to her. I'm fine, I said. Just stressed. Work's been brutal. Maybe you should take a break. We could go somewhere, like we used to. Where would we go? Somewhere warm. Somewhere. She paused. With no extradition. I almost laughed. Extradition? I meant extraction. No work extraction. Phones, emails, just us. The garage door rumbled. Callie was home. Emma pulled her hand away, stood quickly. I should check the dessert. But she didn't move toward the kitchen. Instead, she went to her purse, pulling out a small bottle. Prescription bottle. Actually, I forgot. The doctor gave me these for you. For the fatigue. She shook out 2 pills. White, unmarked. What are they? Vitamin D, prescription strength. I took them, examined them. They looked like vitamin D. They also looked like a dozen other things that could kill me. Thanks, I said, pocketing them. I'll take them later, with food. You just ate. I mean, more food. Dessert. Callie burst through the door, soccer bag slung over her shoulder, grass stains on her knees. We won, she announced, 3-2, and I scored the winner. Emma transformed instantly concerned wife to perfect mother. That's amazing, sweetie. Are you hungry? Starving. I'll heat up a plate. As Emma busied herself with Callie's dinner, our daughter dropped into the chair beside me. You okay, Dad? You look tired. Just a long day. Tell me about the game. As Callie launched into a play-by-play, I watched Emma watching us. She stood at the stove, but her attention was on me, on the pocket where I'd put the pills, on my wine glass still half full. Her phone buzzed again. She grabbed it, read quickly, then typed back. Her face went pale. Everything okay? I called. Fine. Too bright. Just, I need to run out. Book club emergency. What kind of emergency? Susan's husband left her. She just found out. About an affair. The irony was almost beautiful. That's terrible, I said. Give her my best. Emma kissed Callie's head, then paused beside me. For a moment, I thought she might kiss me too. Instead, she leaned close, whispered, Take those pills, okay? I worry about you. Then she was gone, leaving the scent of Chanel and lies. Callie waited until the car pulled away, then turned to me. Mom's been weird lately. Weird how? I don't know. Secretive, and she's been in your office a lot. Going through papers. What kind of papers? Insurance stuff, I think. And bank statements. Dad. She hesitated. I found something. In her dresser. My heart stopped. What? Callie pulled out her phone, showed me a photo she'd taken. A bottle of rat poison hidden under Emma's jewelry box. There's no rats in our house, Callie said quietly. So why does she have poison? I pulled my daughter close, kissed her forehead. You did good telling me, but I need you to promise something. Don't eat or drink anything Mom gives you unless I'm there, okay? Dad, you're scaring me. I know, I'm sorry, just trust me, and maybe stay at Sophia's house for a few days for that science project. We don't have a science project. You do now. Callie studied me, too smart for 14. It's Uncle Weston, isn't it? I've seen how she looks at him. Jesus. Even our daughter knew. How long have you noticed? Since summer. The way they stand too close. The way she laughs at his stupid jokes. Callie's voice hardened. The way she smiles when you're not looking. I hugged her tighter. It's going to be okay. Are you getting divorced? Something like that. Good, she said fiercely. You deserve better. From the mouths of babes. My phone buzzed. Andrew, my lawyer. Can you meet tonight? I found something about your father's will you need to see. Then Jeremiah. Got the DNA results. You need to see this immediately. Then Tegan. Check your security cameras. Now. I pulled up the feed from our bedroom. Emma was there, but she'd left for book club. Or had she? No. This was from an hour ago while I was watching her cook. She was in my closet, going through my suits, looking for something, or planting something. In the corner of the screen, barely visible, the glint of a needle disappearing into my jacket pocket. The same jacket I'd wear to tomorrow's board meeting, where I'd reach for my phone, feel a prick, and... Dad? Callie's voice brought me back. What's wrong? Pack a bag, I said. You're staying at Sophia's tonight. What about you? I looked at the empty wine glass, the untaken pills, the needle waiting in my pocket. I'm ending this, I said. Tonight. Chapter 6. Andrew Davis lived in a federal-style mansion on Benefit Street, all sharp angles and Presbyterian restraint. At 10 p.m., his study glowed with lamplight. He answered the door himself, already dressed for bed, but somehow still looking lawyerly in his robe. Liam, come in. We have a lot to discuss. His study smelled of leather and old paper, floor-to-ceiling legal volumes that probably cost more than most people's cars. Andrew poured 2 scotches without asking Macallan 25, because even his crisis drinks were prestigious. Your father, he began without preamble, was a complicated man. That's one word for it. He knew about Weston, has known since 1976. I nearly dropped the scotch. What? Andrew pulled out a file thick as a phone book. Archer had me investigate Margaret Martin when she claimed paternity. DNA testing wasn't available then, but blood typing was. Weston Wesley then was a match. So he knew he had a son and did nothing? Not nothing. He paid support, set up a trust. But he also... Andrew hesitated, lawyer careful with his words. He had Margaret investigated, thoroughly. And? She'd done this before, 3 times. Different men, same pattern: seduce, get pregnant, claim paternity, get paid. Except with Archer, it was actually true. You're saying my father's biological son was raised by a professional extortionist? Essentially, but it gets worse. Andrew pulled out another document. This is Archer's real will, not the one filed for probate. This one's been in my safe for 8 years, waiting. Waiting for what? For Weston to commit a felony. Your father built in what I call a bastard clause, crude term, his words. Any biological child who commits a crime forfeits all inheritance rights. I read through the dense legalese. This says biological children inherit equally with adopted children, unless they commit specified crimes. Attempted murder tops the list. How did he know Weston would? He didn't. But he knew Margaret's influence, knew what kind of man that boy would likely become, so he prepared. Andrew pulled out a DVD. He also left this. Instructions for you when the bastard shows his true colors. Again, his words. The TV in the corner flickered to life. My father appeared, older than I remembered, sitting in this same study. Liam, his recorded voice began, if you're watching this, then Wesley or whatever he's calling himself has made his move. I'm sorry. I should have warned you, but I hoped I was wrong about him. I sat frozen, watching my dead father predict my present. By now you know he's my biological son. My mistake, though God knows Margaret was persistent. She got me drunk at the Christmas party and, well, 9 months later, Wesley existed. Even dead, Archer couldn't admit to more than a mistake. I've been monitoring him since he turned 18. The violent incidents, the missing girls, the pattern of destruction. He's his mother's son, but with my ambition. A dangerous combination. The video Archer looked directly at the camera, at me. There's something else. Margaret had twins, Wesley and a girl. She sold the girl through private adoption when she was 3 days old. I tried to track her, but the trail went cold in Florida. My blood chilled. Emma was from Florida. Adopted. If Wesley ever finds out about his sister, he'll try to find her. Use her, probably, or worse. The boy has tastes, inherited from his mother's side, I assure you. Jesus, Andrew muttered. Does he mean incest? I finished. He means Weston would fuck his own sister if it served his purpose. The video continued. I've left you everything you need to destroy him legally. Andrew has the files. Use them. Protect yourself. Protect your family. And Liam? Don't show mercy. I made that mistake with Margaret. It cost me everything, including probably my life. The screen went dark. He suspected they'd kill him? I asked. More than suspected. He had stage 1 pancreatic cancer, very treatable. Then suddenly he was dying. The doctors couldn't explain the rapid decline. Arsenic. Same as they're using on me. Andrew's face paled. Christ, we need to involve the police. Not yet, I need more evidence. And I need to know if Emma is Weston's sister. The DNA results? Jeremiah's getting them tonight. Andrew pulled out another folder. There's more about the inheritance. If Weston is convicted of attempting to murder you, everything goes to charity, specifically to a fund for domestic violence victims. Poetic. Your father had a sense of irony, but there's a loophole. If you die before Weston's convicted, he can still claim his share. Unless. Unless what? Unless you have a will specifying otherwise, which you need to sign. Tonight. He pushed documents across the desk. This excludes any biological children of Archer Anderson from inheriting, specifically naming Weston Rodriguez, a.k.a. Wesley Martin. It also sets up an irrevocable trust for Callie, one Emma can't touch. What about Emma's share? We're still married. Attempted murder voids spousal inheritance rights. If we can prove she tried to kill you, she gets nothing. I signed where he indicated, each signature another nail in their coffins. There's one more thing, Andrew said, pulling out a manila envelope. Your father had Weston's medical records hacked. He's sterile. Vasectomy in 2018, never reversed. Tegan said he had it reversed once in 1999. He did. Got a 16-year-old pregnant, then had it redone. But here's the interesting part, Emma's pregnant. I stared at him. How do you know? I have sources at Providence General. She's 8 weeks along, which means it's not Weston's. Can't be. So either she's lying to him about the pregnancy, lying about whose it is, or she's fucking someone else too. I laughed, bitter as arsenic. Christ, what a mess. My phone buzzed. Jeremiah. DNA results are in, I told Andrew. I need to go. Liam. Andrew stood, walked me to the door. Your father would be proud. You're fighting smarter, not harder. That's how Anderson men win. Anderson men, I repeated, adopted or otherwise. The only real Anderson man, Andrew corrected, is the one who earned it. That's you. Weston's just blood and ambition. You're the true heir. Outside, Providence glittered below Benefit Street like a box of broken glass. Somewhere down there, my wife was plotting my murder with my half-brother, who might be her half-brother too. My phone rang. Tegan. Where are you? She asked. Leaving Andrew's. Come to my house. Jeremiah's here with the results, and Liam, bring a gun. Why? Because when you see what we found, you're going to want to kill them both. That bad? Worse. Emma's not Weston's sister. Relief flooded through me. Thank God. She's his daughter. The phone slipped from my numb fingers, clattering on the cobblestones. I could hear Tegan's voice, tinny and distant. Liam? Liam, are you there? There's more. About your father. About what really happened that night in 1975. I picked up the phone with trembling hands. I'm coming, I said. Don't start without me. Chapter 7. The Starlight Diner squatted on Route 6 like a chrome-plated time machine, one of those places that served eggs 24 hours a day and never asked questions. At 2 a.m., the only customers were truckers and insomniacs, perfect for hearing truths that could destroy lives. Nevier was working the night shift, coffee pot in hand like a weapon. She had that kind of beauty that bloomed in fluorescent light, sharp cheekbones, dark eyes that had seen too much, black hair pulled back in a messy bun. She looked like trouble. Good trouble, maybe, but trouble nonetheless. Mr. Anderson, she said, refilling my cup without being asked. You look like hell. Seems to be the consensus. I wrapped my hands around the mug, seeking warmth I couldn't find anywhere else. Jeremiah said you had information. I have more than that. She slid into the booth across from me, glancing around to make sure we were alone. I have video. She pulled out her phone, swiped to a video file. The timestamp read October 15th, 11:47 p.m., 2 weeks ago. I record everything in the parking lot, she explained. Had a stalker issue last year. Anyway, watch. The video showed Emma's BMW pulling up beside a beat-up Honda. She got out, looked around nervously, then approached the driver's window. Money changed hands. The dealer, because that's clearly what he was, handed her something small. Can you zoom in? Neva pinched the screen. The image pixelated but cleared enough to show a small glass vial. Fentanyl, Nevi said quietly. Street name Gray Death. Enough to kill someone and make it look like an overdose. How do you know what it is? Because that dealer? That's my ex-boyfriend. Dante. I know his entire inventory. She swiped to another photo, a young woman, maybe 19, laughing at a party. This was my sister, Melody. She bought from him too. Died 6 months ago. Accidental overdose, they said. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Help me nail the bastard. And your wife. What else do you have? She pulled out a notebook, pages covered in neat handwriting. I've been tracking everyone who buys from Dante. Your wife's been a regular for 3 weeks. Always late night, always alone, always cash. But this video is from the diner's security system, legally obtained, admissible in court. She smiled, sharp as winter. I might wait tables, but I'm in my 3rd year of law school. Night classes at Roger Williams. Why are you helping me? Because men like your brother-in-law, yeah, I know about Weston, they destroy families. They take innocent girls and turn them into statistics. My sister was one. Sarah Winters was another. You knew Sarah? She came here crying one night. 3 months pregnant, scared out of her mind. Said her boyfriend was older, married, dangerous. Described Weston perfectly. 2 days later, she was dead. Nevaeh pulled up another video on her phone. This is from that night. A young girl sat in this very booth, mascara streaking her cheeks. The audio was faint but clear enough. He said he loved me, Sarah sobbed. Said he'd leave his wife. But when I told him about the baby, he gave me pills. Said they were prenatal vitamins. But I looked them up. They're abortion pills, industrial strength. Who gave them to you? Nevaeh's voice from behind the camera. I can't say. He'll kill me. Honey, you need to go to the police. No. Sarah looked terrified. You don't understand. His family owns half of Providence. His brother-in-law is Liam Anderson, the Liam Anderson. If I talk, I'll disappear. The video ended. She died that night, Nevaeh said quietly. Went home, took the pills, hemorrhaged, bled out alone in her apartment. Christ. Your money, your name, your reputation, Weston uses them like shields. Emma helps. They're a team. Speaking of Emma, I said. She was here earlier tonight. Did you see her? Yeah, around 9, but not with Dante. Nevaeh pulled up the diner's security footage on her laptop. With someone else. The footage showed Emma in a back booth with a young man, maybe 25. Dark hair, nervous energy. They were sitting close. Too close. Who is he? Tyler Morrison. Works at your company, actually. IT department. I looked closer. I recognized him now, eager kid, always volunteering for overtime. Why would Emma be meeting with... I stopped. Watched Emma hand Tyler something. An envelope. Son of a bitch. What? He has access to all our computer systems, including my personal files, insurance policies, financial records, passwords. She's getting your digital life mapped out, Nevaeh said. Planning for after you're gone. On the screen, Tyler leaned over and kissed Emma. Not a friendly peck, a deep, hungry kiss. She didn't pull away. Jesus, how many people is she fucking? Based on what I've seen? At least 3. Weston, Tyler, and there's another guy. Comes by Sunday mornings when you're golfing. I don't golf anymore. She doesn't know that. You leave, park somewhere, but I bet you don't actually golf. She was right. I'd been sitting in my car in various parking lots, pretending everything was normal while my world fell apart. The Sunday guy, Nevaeh continued, scrolling through photos, is this one. I nearly choked on my coffee. That's Marcus Webb, my toxicologist. The one confirming the arsenic poisoning? Yeah. Honey, Nevaeh said gently. Maybe he's not confirming anything. Maybe he's in on it. The implications hit like a sledgehammer. If Marcus was compromised, than the evidence I'd been collecting. "No," I said. "The symptoms are real. I've been sick." "Oh, I believe she's poisoning you, but maybe not with arsenic. Maybe with something that mimics the symptoms but won't show up on a real tox screen. That way, when you die and they autopsy you, they find nothing, natural causes, or suicide if they plant the fentanyl." "Exactly." My phone buzzed. "Tegan, where are you? This is urgent." "I have to go," I said, standing. "Wait." Nevaeh caught my arm. "There's something else, about your father's death." "What about it?" She pulled up another old video. "This is from 8 years ago, night your father died." The grainy footage showed the parking lot of Providence General, an ambulance, a figure being wheeled out covered in a sheet, and in the corner, barely visible, Emma and Weston standing together. "The records say Emma was in Boston that night," Nevaeh said, "at a conference." "She was. I remember because I called her when Dad had his heart attack." "Then who's this?" She zoomed in. Despite the grain, it was clearly Emma. Same profile, same way of standing, same nervous hair tuck she did when anxious. "This was taken 3 hours before your father was pronounced dead," Nevaeh said. "Before anyone called you. Before you called her. She knew. She was there when they killed him." "Yeah, and look at this." She pointed to Weston's hand in the video. He was holding something. A syringe. Whatever they injected him with, it was right there in the hospital. Probably potassium chloride. Causes heart failure. Nearly impossible to detect after death. "You've thought about this a lot." "I told you. My sister's death wasn't an accident. I've been investigating every suspicious death in Providence for 2 years. Your father's was one of them." "Why didn't you go to the police?" She laughed, bitter. "With what? Grainy video and theories? Against the Anderson family? They'd bury me." "But now? Now I have you, the real Anderson, the one with power to fight back." She stood, pulled off her apron. "My shift ends in 20 minutes. Where are we going?" "We? You need allies, Liam. Real ones. Not people you're paying, not family members with agendas. You need someone who hates them as much as you do." She met my eyes. "That's me. This could be dangerous. My sister's already dead. Sarah's already dead. Your father's already dead. How much more dangerous can it get?" She had a point. "Plus," she added, pulling car keys from her pocket, "I know where Weston keeps his real records, not the office you broke into. His actual evidence locker." "Where?" "Storage unit in Cranston. I followed him there last week. He visits every Tuesday and Friday, always alone, always nervous." "What's in it?" "Only one way to find out." She smiled, dangerous and beautiful. "Want to go commit some light breaking and entering?" "Tegan's expecting me. So we make a detour. Unless you don't want to know what your half-brother's really hiding." I thought about Emma's lips on Tyler's, about Marcus potentially falsifying evidence, about my father dying while his bastard son held a syringe. "Let's go," I said. As we walked to her car, a beat-up Honda that would blend in anywhere, she said, "You know this ends badly, right? These kinds of stories always do." "How do you think it ends?" "Blood," she said simply. "These things always end in blood." She was probably right. But as I watched Emma's taillights disappear in the distance, heading to God knows which lover's bed, I realized I didn't care anymore. Blood sounded about right. Chapter 8. Friday morning came gray and bitter, Providence wearing fog like a funeral shroud. I sat in my home office at 5 a.m., watching the sun struggle through clouds while Emma slept upstairs, unaware that her world was about to implode. The evidence from Weston's storage unit was spread across my desk. Photos of Emma from before we met. Credit reports, medical records, her adopted parents' death certificates. He'd been stalking her for years, maybe before he even knew she was his daughter. Or maybe he'd always known. The most damning thing? A birth certificate. Emma's real one, not the adopted version. Mother, Diana Martin, Margaret's daughter. The twin Archer never knew about. Father, Wesley Martin, age 16. The math was sick but simple. Weston had impregnated his own teenage sister when they were both minors, Then their mother had given the baby up for adoption to hide the incest. Emma was both Weston's daughter and his niece. My wife was fucking her father, and they both knew. A journal entry in Weston's handwriting confirmed it. She looks just like Diana did. Same mouth, same eyes, same weakness. When I told her I was her real father, she cried for an hour. Then she asked how much money I had. She's definitely my blood. The plan unfolded across 3 notebooks, 5 years of planning: find Emma, seduce her, tell her the truth after she was already in love, use her to get to me, kill me, inherit everything. Then kill Emma too. No loose ends, no DNA evidence of incest. Except Emma had her own plan. The fentanyl wasn't for me. It was for Weston after I was dead. She'd make it look like guilt-driven suicide. The grieving widow and the guilty lover. A Shakespeare tragedy in Providence. My phone buzzed. Andrew. Accounts frozen as requested. Emma's cards will decline in approximately 1 hour. Phase 1. Financial warfare. Another text from Tegan. Divorce papers filed. Process server en route to Weston's office. Security will be there to film his reaction. Phase 2. Public humiliation. Jeremiah. Anonymous tip submitted to FBI about statutory rape and embezzlement. They're very interested. Phase 3. Legal destruction. The house phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. Mr. Anderson, this is Bank of America calling about unusual activity on your accounts. Please call us immediately. Emma's footsteps on the stairs. She was up early, probably anxious about her morning poisoning routine. Liam? She called. You up? In the office, I called back. She appeared in the doorway wearing one of my shirts, playing the devoted wife. Her hair was messy, lips slightly swollen. She'd been biting them, a nervous habit. You're up early, she said. Couldn't sleep. Big meeting today. Want coffee? Already had some. I held up my travel mug, filled with coffee I'd made myself. But thanks. Frustration flickered across her face. You should eat something. I'll make eggs. Not hungry. Liam. Emma, why was Weston at Dad's funeral? The question hung between us like a blade. What? Weston. At Dad's funeral 8 years ago. I was going through old photos and saw him in the background. Why was he there? I don't know. Maybe he was working construction at the cemetery. In a suit? I don't know, Liam. Why does it matter? Just curious. I turned back to my computer. Oh, the bank called. Something about the accounts. You might want to check on that. She practically ran to the kitchen. I heard her purse unzip, the frantic tapping of her phone. What the fuck? She muttered, then louder. Liam, my card's not working. Try the other one, I called. More tapping. None of them are working. Probably fraud protection. I'll call them later. She appeared in the doorway again, phone in hand. I need to buy groceries. Use cash. I don't have any cash. Then I guess you'll have to wait. Her phone rang. She looked at the screen, and her face went white. I need to take this, she said, already heading upstairs. But I'd installed the app on her phone last night while she slept. Her conversation streamed through my earbuds. The accounts are frozen, she hissed. Weston's voice. What do you mean frozen? Blocked. All of them. Liam says it's fraud protection, but he knows. He can't know. We've been careful. Then why are the accounts frozen? I don't know. Did you give him the increased dose? He won't drink the coffee anymore, makes his own. Then use the backup plan. The needle in his jacket. That's for the board meeting. Fuck the board meeting. Do it now. Today. That's not the plan. Plans change. Kill him today or I will. Weston. Don't Weston me. You wanted this as much as I did, remember? I can't wait to be free, you said. Well, freedom requires action. Dad, please silence. Then Weston laughed, low and mean. Dad, I love when you call me that, especially when you're naked. Don't. Don't what? Remind you that you've been fucking your father for 3 years? That you begged for it even after you knew? I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice, Emma. You chose money over morality, just like I knew you would, just like my mother knew you would. Grandmother's dead, but her plan isn't. Kill Liam today, or I'll tell everyone what you really are. My daughter, my lover, my accomplice. The call ended. I heard Emma crying upstairs, real tears this time. Part of me almost felt sorry for her. Almost. My phone rang. Callie, from her friend's house. Dad, you need to see the news. I turned on the TV. Local news, Channel 6. Arrested this morning at his Cranston office. Weston Rodriguez, prominent construction executive, faces charges of embezzlement, statutory rape, and conspiracy to commit murder. The FBI reports, the footage showed Weston being led out in handcuffs, Tegan watching from their doorway with perfectly timed tears. The arrest was supposed to be this afternoon. Someone had moved up the timeline. Emma's scream from upstairs told me she was watching too. She came flying down the stairs, fully dressed now, purse in hand. I have to go, she said. Where? My mother's sick. Your mother's dead, Emma. We buried her 3 years ago. She stopped, turned. What? Your adoptive mother is dead, but Margaret's alive, isn't she? Your grandmother, Weston's mother. Your father's mother. The color drained from her face entirely. I don't... Storage Unit 47B, Cranston Self-Storage. That's where he kept everything. Your real birth certificate, the DNA tests, the plans to kill me. I stood, walked toward her. Did you know from the beginning? Or did he tell you after you were already fucking? You don't understand. I understand everything. The poison, the affairs, the plan to kill me and make it look like suicide. Liam, the FBI will be here soon. Weston's already talking, telling them everything to cut a deal. That was a lie, but she didn't know that. I need to go, she said, backing toward the door. Go where? Your accounts are frozen. Your lover's sorry. Your father is in jail. You have nowhere to go. I have friends. No, you have accomplices. There's a difference. She reached for the door handle, but I was faster, blocking her path. Move, she said. Give me your phone. What? Your phones. Both of them. I don't... The iPhone and the burner, now. She handed over the iPhone. I don't have tampon box, your closet, pink Samsung. Her shoulders sagged. She pulled the burner from her purse. Sit down, I said. We need to discuss Callie. You can't take her from me. I'm not taking her. You're giving her up. You're going to sign custody over to me, then disappear. I'll never, or I release everything. The videos of you with Weston, the poison purchases, the birth certificate showing you fucked your biological father knowingly. You wouldn't. The scandal would destroy the Anderson name. It's just a name. I was adopted, remember? I can always change it. She sank onto the couch. What do you want? Divorce, full custody, you disappear. And if I don't? Then you go to prison for attempted murder, where you'll be known as the woman who fucked her father for money. How do you think that'll play in Gen Pop? Her phone, the burner, buzzed. A text from Tyler, the IT kid, FBI at the office asking about Emma. What do I say? Looks like Tyler's about to flip on you too, I observed. Another buzz. Marcus. They're questioning me about the lab results. I won't lie for you. And there goes your toxicologist. A third buzz. This time from an unknown number. You're going to pay for what you did to Sarah. I smiled. That would be Sarah's father. Did you know he's connected? Old Providence family, the kind that makes problems disappear? Emma started crying again. Not pretty tears this time. Ugly, desperate sobs. I didn't mean for it to happen, she gasped. Any of it. Which part? Fucking your father, poisoning me, planning my murder? All of it. He said he'd help me. Said I deserved better than you. You did deserve better. That's the sad part. If you just asked for a divorce, I'd have given you everything. The house, money, shared custody, but you had to be greedy. It wasn't about money. No? It was about being chosen. Weston chose me. Out of everyone, he chose me. He chose you because you were his daughter. Because fucking you was the ultimate fuck you to my father. To me. You were revenge wrapped in skin. She looked up at me, mascara running. Did you ever love me? More than you'll ever know. Do you still? I love who you were, or who I thought you were. But that woman never existed, did she? She did, before Weston, before I knew the truth. The truth? That I'm poison. Incest and lies and poison, all the way down to my DNA. I looked at this woman I'd shared my life with, mother of my child, would-be murderer, victim and villain both. "You're right," I said. "You are poison, but you chose to spread it instead of stopping it." The doorbell rang. We both froze. "FBI!" a voice called. "We have a warrant." Emma looked at me, panic in her eyes. "Back door," I said quietly. "What?" "Back door. Your car keys are on the kitchen counter. You have maybe 30 seconds. "Why?" "Because despite everything, you're still Callie's mother, and I don't want her to see you arrested." She stood, moved toward the kitchen, then stopped. "Liam?" "The coffee. It wasn't arsenic, just ipecac. To make you sick, make you dependent. I was never going to kill you. That was all Weston." I didn't believe her, but I said, "Go." She ran. The FBI agents entered as the back door slammed. They looked at me, evaluating. "Mr. Anderson, we have some questions about your wife." "She just left," I said, "but I have something you'll want to see." I led them to my office, to the evidence spread across my desk. Everything except the birth certificate showing the incest. That was my nuclear option, saved for if she ever tried to come back. As they cataloged the evidence, my phone buzzed. "Tegan, Weston made bail. He's coming for you." Then Jeremiah. "Emma's car just hit a tree on Route 6. Single car accident. She's alive but critical." Then Callie. "Dad, is Mom okay?" "The news says she crashed." I looked out at the gray Providence morning, at the life I'd built crumbling like old mortar. "Mr. Anderson?" The FBI agent was watching me. "Do you know where your wife might go?" "No," I lied. "I have no idea." But I did know. She'd go to the only person left who'd take her, Margaret Martin, the grandmother who taught her that poison was a family tradition, the woman who started all of this in 1975 with a Christmas party and a calculated seduction, the matriarch of a poisoned bloodline. "We'll need you to come to the station," the agent said. "Of course. Just let me call my daughter first." As I dialed Callie's number, I thought about Nevaeh's words. These things always end in blood. She was right, but whose blood was still to be determined. Chapter 9. Saturday morning, Providence General's ICU. Emma lay unconscious, machines breathing for her, face swollen beyond recognition from the crash. The doctors said she'd been lucky, if you could call a medically induced coma lucky. I sat in the uncomfortable visitor's chair, playing the concerned husband for the nurses while switching out her IV bag. Not with poison, with saline. "How's she doing?" Nevaeh asked from the doorway, dressed in scrubs she'd borrowed from her nursing program. "Stable. The fentanyl in her system probably saved her life. Slowed her heart rate before impact. Her own poison as medicine. Ironic. Poetic." Nevaeh checked the hallway, then closed the door. "Weston's here, 3rd floor. Tegan had him admitted for exhaustion after his arrest." "She's good. She's motivated. Did you see the news? She's claiming spousal abuse, says Weston forced her to stay quiet about his crimes." "Is any of it true? Does it matter? The bruise on her face is real. The rest is performance art." I looked at Emma's ruined face. "We're all performing something. Speaking of which, you need to see this." Nevaeh pulled out her phone, showed me security footage from our house. "This is from yesterday, while you were with the FBI." The video showed someone entering through the back door, Weston, using Emma's keys. "He planted something," Nevaeh said. "In your bedroom, behind the mirror." "Cameras? Or worse, you can't go home." "I have to. Callie needs clothes, stability. Callie needs a living father. Stay at my place tonight." "Your place?" "I have a couch, and no hidden cameras. Plus I make excellent coffee. Poison-free, I promise." Before I could respond, Emma stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, unfocused. "Liam," she whispered, "I'm here. Did I crash?" "Yes." "Was it on purpose?" I studied her face, what I could see of it through the bandages. "You tell me." "I don't know. I was driving, and I kept thinking about Sarah, about Dad Weston, about what we did, and then there was a tree, and I thought, maybe this is easier. Suicide's never easier. It's just final. Is Callie okay? She's worried about you. Don't let her see me like this." "I won't." Emma tried to reach for my hand, but the restraint stopped her. She looked at them, confused. The police, I explained. You're under arrest. Attempted murder, conspiracy, fraud. Oh. She was quiet for a moment. Weston's out, isn't he? On bail. He'll come for me. Why? Because I know everything. Every crime, every body. I kept records, insurance. Where? Safety deposit box. Providence Federal. Box 1247. What's in it? Everything. Videos, recordings, documents. Proof he killed your father. Proof he killed those girls. She met my eyes. Proof he's been planning to kill you since the day he found out he was an Anderson. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I was going to use it. After you were dead, I was going to blackmail him. Take everything. She laughed, bitter. I learned from the best. Grandmother taught me that men are only good for their money. Margaret. She's here, in Providence, has been for months, pulling strings. Where? I don't know. She moves around. But Weston meets her every Sunday at St. Mary's. During the 10 o'clock service, they sit in the back, pretend to pray. Tomorrow's Sunday. Yeah. Emma closed her eyes. Liam, whatever you're planning, be careful. Margaret survived this long by being smarter than everyone else. She got away with murdering my grandfather, Weston's adoptive father, 3 others. She's poison in human form. Takes one to know one. Yes, she agreed. It does. A knock at the door. Dr. Marcus Webb entered, looking haggard. Liam, we need to talk. The toxicologist who's been fucking my wife wants to talk? Marcus flinched. I never slept with Emma. The video says otherwise. What video? I showed him Neve's footage from the diner, him and Emma kissing. That's not me, he said. Look closer. I did. The man had Marcus's build, his hair, but the tattoo, Marcus pointed out. On his wrist. I don't have tattoos. He was right. Then who? Tyler Morrison. Your IT guy. Emma had him dress like me, act like me, create evidence that I was involved. Marcus pulled out lab reports. These are the real results. Not arsenic. Ipecac and low-dose lithium. Enough to make you sick, dependent, but not kill you. Why lithium? Causes tremors, confusion, makes you seem mentally unstable. Perfect for when they claimed you were suicidal. You could have told me earlier. She threatened my daughter. Said Weston would hurt her if I didn't play along. I gave you false reports, but I kept the real ones. Everything's documented. And now Weston's in jail and Emma's in a coma. My daughter's safe, so here's everything. He handed me a flash drive. Every test, every result, every communication with Emma. She was careful, but not careful enough. This could save your license. I don't care about my license. I care about justice. He looked at Emma. Is she going to make it? Probably. Good. I want her to stand trial, to face what she's done. After Marcus left, Nevaeh and I sat in silence, watching Emma sleep. You switched her IV, Nevaeh said, but not to hurt her. To save her. They had her on morphine. Weston could have easily increased the dose, made it look like an overdose. You're protecting the woman who tried to kill you. I'm protecting evidence. She's the only one who can testify to Weston's crimes. And if she doesn't, then we go to Plan B, which is Margaret. She's the key to everything, the original sin that started this whole poisoned family tree. My phone buzzed. Tegan. Weston just left the hospital. He's heading to your house. We need to go, I told Nevaeh. What about Emma? She's safe here. Cops outside, nurses watching. As we left, Emma called out weakly, Liam? I turned back. The baby, she whispered. It wasn't Weston's. Wasn't yours either. Whose? Nobody's. I was never pregnant. It was another lie to make you feel guilty. To make the suicide more believable. She smiled sadly. I wanted to trap you with guilt. Instead, I trapped myself with lies. We left her there, surrounded by machines and mistakes, while somewhere in Providence her father-lover plotted our deaths, and her grandmother pulled invisible strings. St. Mary's tomorrow? Nevaeh asked as we walked to her car. St. Mary's tomorrow. You know it's a trap. Everything's been a trap, at least this one I'm walking into with my eyes open. She started the car, then looked at me. That night at the diner, when I said this ends in blood? Yeah. I meant yours. I know. And you're okay with that? I thought about Callie, about justice, about the poisoned roots of the Anderson family tree. Some things are worth bleeding for, I said. And some things are worth killing for, she replied, pulling out of the hospital parking lot. In the rearview mirror, I saw Weston's BMW pulling in. He was heading for Emma's room, probably to finish what the car crash started. Should we warn the police? Nevaeh asked. Already did. Tegan's calling them now. He'll be arrested again within the hour. For what? Violating the restraining order Emma filed this morning. Emma's unconscious. Tegan has power of attorney, signed it as Emma this morning. That's illegal. So is murder. Sometimes you have to choose which laws to break. As we drove through Providence's twisted streets, I realized I'd become like them, like the Andersons, like the Martins, using lies and manipulation as weapons. The only difference? I was using poison to cure poison. Sometimes that's the only antidote that works. Chapter 10. Sunday. While Weston and Margaret sat in St. Mary's pretending to be faithful, I sat in my kitchen with Callie, pretending everything was normal. Dad, she said, pushing eggs around her plate, I need to tell you something. Okay. I've known about Mom and Uncle Weston for a year. I set down my coffee, my own coffee, made with bottled water. Paranoid habits die hard. What? Last summer, when you went to that conference in New York, I came home early from soccer camp. Stomach bug. Mom didn't know. Callie's voice was steady, but her hands shook. They were in your bed. Jesus, Callie. I recorded it. The words hung between us like a blade. You what? She pulled out her phone, scrolled to a hidden folder. I didn't know what else to do. I was 13, scared, confused. So I did what every kid does. I recorded evidence. The video was shaky, filmed through a cracked bedroom door. But it clearly showed Emma and Weston in my bed, in my house. There's more, Callie said. I installed apps on Mom's phone. Tracking, recording, everything. I've been monitoring her for a year. Callie, I know it's wrong, I know it's illegal, but I knew something bad was happening. I could feel it in the house like... She searched for words like poison in the air. She opened another app, showed me months of data. Emma's locations, conversations, texts. This is from last week, she said, playing an audio file. Emma's voice. The coffee's working. He's getting weaker. Weston. Good. How's Callie? What about her? Is she suspicious? No, she's 14. Only cares about soccer and boys. Good. After Liam's gone, we'll need to handle her carefully. What do you mean? She inherits everything if something happens to you too. Maybe a car accident. Teenage drivers are so reckless. The recording ended. Callie was pale but composed. They were going to kill me too, she said simply. I won't let that happen. I know. That's why I need to show you the rest. She pulled up another video, dated 3 weeks ago. Emma in her walk-in closet, crushing pills. She's been putting something in your coffee, Callie said. Every morning. But Dad, she's been putting something in mine too. What? Different pills. Blue ones. I looked them up, Xanax. Low dose, but every day. To keep me calm, docile. Easier to control. Rage flooded through me, pure and clean. How long? 6 months, maybe more. I stopped eating breakfast at home after I figured it out. Been buying food at school. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was gathering evidence. Like you taught me facts first, emotions later. Besides, she looked at me with Emma's eyes, but my determination, I wanted to see how far they'd go. That's dangerous. So is living in this house. She pulled up another file. This is from Mom's burner phone, the one she thinks is hidden. Text messages filled the screen. Emma to an unknown number. The girl knows something. She's been acting strange. Unknown. Then deal with her. Emma. She's my daughter. Unknown. She's an obstacle. Your Weston's gotten soft. First Liam, then the girl. No witnesses. Emma. I won't hurt her. Unknown. Then I will. Sunday after church. Car accident on Route 6. That's today, I said. Yeah. That's why I'm showing you now. Callie looked at me. Who's the unknown number? Margaret Martin, your grandmother. Your real grandmother. Mom's adopted. It's complicated. I took a breath. Weston is Mom's biological father. Callie processed this for about 3 seconds. So Mom's been fucking her dad? Language. Seriously? Mom's committing incest and trying to kill us, and you're worried about language? Fair point. There's something else, Callie said. Last Tuesday, when Mom was at the hospital, someone broke in. What? Why didn't you? I handled it. She pulled up security footage from a camera I didn't know we had. I installed these last month, every room. The footage showed Weston entering through the back door, planting something behind our bedroom mirror, then moving to Callie's room. He put something under my bed, she said. I found it. She handed me a small device, GPS tracker with audio recording capability. They've been monitoring me, knowing where I go, who I talk to. She smiled grimly. So I've been feeding them false information, making them think I'm clueless. Callie, this is dangerous, illegal, insane? She shrugged. It's also survival. You taught me that. When someone tries to hurt you, you don't just defend, you counterattack. I never taught you that. No, but you showed me. Every business deal, every negotiation. You gather intelligence, find weakness, strike smart. She looked at me with frightening clarity. They're not the only ones who inherited the Anderson cunning. My phone buzzed. Nevaeh. They just left the church. Margaret's with them. White Lexus heading your way. Pack a bag, I told Callie. We're leaving. No. Callie, if we run now, we'll always be running. They'll always be out there, planning, poisoning. She stood up, suddenly looking older than 14. I have a better idea. Which is? We let them come. But first, we prepare a welcome they'll never forget. She went to the pantry, pulled out a box of rat poison. The same one Emma had hidden. I've been switching Mom's supplies, she said. This is just cornstarch now, but they don't know that. You've been protecting us for months. While you were playing defense, I was playing offense. She smiled, and for a moment I saw Archer in her, the ruthless genius who built an empire. I'm an Anderson, Dad, by choice if not by blood, and Andersons don't run. What do you propose? We record everything, their confession, their plan, their attack, then we use it to bury them, legally, publicly, permanently. And if they try to hurt you? She pulled something from her backpack, a small canister. Bear spray. Coach gave it to the whole team after that creep was hanging around the field. She tested the safety. One shot, they're blind for hours. This isn't a game. No, it's war. And in war, even 14-year-olds have to fight. Another text from Nevaeh. 5 minutes out. Weston's driving. He looks manic. Callie, go to your room. Lock the door. No, I stay with you. This isn't negotiable. Neither is this. She pulled up one more video on her phone. Insurance. It was a recording of her at a law office. Andrew Davis visible in the frame. I, Callie Anderson, being of sound mind and under threat from my mother Emma Anderson and Weston Rodriguez, hereby document their conspiracy to murder my father Liam Anderson and myself. The testimony continued for 20 minutes. Every detail, every piece of evidence, every crime she'd witnessed. Andrew has a copy. So does the FBI. If something happens to us, it automatically releases. She met my eyes. We face this together, or that video goes live now. You're 14. And Mom's trying to kill me. Age stopped mattering the day she put poison in my orange juice. Car doors slammed outside. They're here, Callie said calmly. Ready? I looked at my daughter, my brilliant, terrifying, brave daughter, and realized she was right. The Anderson legacy wasn't about blood. It was about choosing to fight when running would be easier. Ready, I said. The doorbell rang. Showtime, Callie whispered, and hit record on her phone. The final confrontation was about to begin. But this time, we weren't victims. We were Andersons. And Andersons always win. Chapter 11. The doorbell rang again, more insistent this time. Through the peephole, I could see Margaret Martin, 76 years old, but standing like she was 40, silver hair pulled back in a severe bun, wearing a black coat that probably cost more than most people's cars. I know you're in there, Liam, she called, voice sweet as antifreeze. We need to discuss my granddaughter's future. Callie gripped my arm. Don't let them in. If we don't, they'll just come back with lawyers, or worse. I looked at my daughter. Recording? She held up her phone, nodded. I opened the door. Margaret entered first, moving through my house like she owned it. Weston followed, his face still showing bruises from the arrest. He looked manic, pupils dilated, probably high on something. Where's Emma? Margaret asked, settling into my leather chair. Hospital, car accident. How convenient. She smiled, and I saw where Emma got her ability to lie with her eyes. Though not convenient enough, apparently, she's still breathing. Even Weston looked shocked at that. What do you want? I asked. What's mine? What's my family's? Margaret pulled out a folder. Emma's medical records. Fascinating reading. My stomach dropped. The pregnancy. 8 weeks along, Margaret continued. Due in May. A spring baby. How lovely. If it's even real, I said. Oh, it's real. I made sure of that, though who the father is. She glanced at Weston. Well, that's a more interesting question. Weston's face went pale. What do you mean? Did you really think I'd let you shoot blanks into my granddaughter? Margaret laughed. I've been reversing that vasectomy with hormone injections for months. Slipped them into your protein shakes. You what? A grandmother wants great-grandchildren, even if they're genetically complicated. Callie made a disgusted sound. Margaret's eyes snapped to her. And you must be Callie. You have your grandfather's eyes. Archer wasn't my grandfather. No, but he should have been, if your father hadn't stolen what belonged to my son. Your son is fucking his own daughter, Callie said flatly. That's not stealing. That's sick. Margaret stood, walked to Callie, studied her face. Such spirit. You'll need it after your father's gone. Touch her and I'll kill you, I said, meaning it. No need for threats. We're all family here. Margaret returned to her chair. Which brings me to my proposal. Emma's baby needs a father, a legal father, one who isn't, biologically problematic. You want me to claim Weston's incest baby? I want you to do what's best for everyone. Sign the papers acknowledging paternity, update your will to include the child, then have your tragic accident. And if I refuse? Margaret pulled out her phone, showed me a video. Tyler Morrison, the IT kid from my company, tied to a chair, bloody. Young Tyler has been very helpful, she said. Access codes, passwords, financial records. But his usefulness has expired. One call, and he disappears. Another call, and the police find evidence that you killed him. Jealous husband murders wife's lover tale as old as time. You're insane. I'm practical. Weston, show him the other insurance policy. Weston, still reeling from the vasectomy revelation, pulled out his phone with shaking hands. A video played Sophia's house, where Callie was supposedly staying. Armed men waiting outside. One word from me, Weston said, finding his voice. And your daughter's friend's family has a home invasion. Tragic, but these things happen in Providence. Callie stepped forward. You're threatening innocent people? No one's innocent, Margaret said. Your father taught us that. Didn't you, Liam? When you had Weston arrested on false charges? The charges were real. The timing was convenient, just like Emma's accident. She stood. You have 24 hours. Sign the papers, acknowledge the baby, update your will, then take a drive. Route 6 is dangerous this time of year. And Callie? She'll be raised properly, by family. By you? By whoever survives this mess. Margaret moved toward the door. Oh, and Liam? Don't bother calling the police. Tyler's being held in a warehouse owned by the mayor's brother. And those men outside Sophia's house? Off-duty cops making extra money. They left, Margaret's perfume lingering like a threat. Callie immediately checked her phone. Sophia's okay. She just texted. Call her. Make sure. She did. I heard Sophia's laugh. Normal, unaware of the danger outside. Dad, what do we do? I thought about the pregnancy, about Tyler somewhere bleeding, about armed men watching 14-year-old girls. We call their bluff, I said. But first, we need to know whose baby Emma's really carrying. I pulled out the medical records I'd stolen from Emma's dresser that morning. The ultrasound was dated wrong. The blood work was from a different patient. The whole pregnancy was fake, I breathed. The whole thing's fake. Callie looked at the papers. Then why is Margaret? Because she doesn't know. Emma's been lying to everyone, even Weston. My phone buzzed. Nevaeh, Tyler just walked into the ER, says he was mugged. He's lying but alive. Another buzz. Tegan. Those men at Sophia's house? They're actors. I hired them for Margaret's benefit. The real cops are watching the actors. I looked at Callie. Margaret's not the only one who can plan ahead. So what now? Now we let them think they've won, while we prepare the real trap. I pulled up Emma's medical records, the real ones, hacked from the hospital that morning. No pregnancy, just fibroids that she'd been treating for months. But there was something else. A prescription filled last week. Mifepristone, the abortion pill. Not for her, for someone else. Dad? Callie was watching my face. What is it? Emma wasn't pregnant, but someone else was. Someone who needed to not be pregnant anymore. I thought about Sarah Winters, dead at 17, about the other girls Weston had destroyed. He has another victim, I said. Someone current, someone who's still alive. Who? My phone rang, unknown number. Mr. Anderson? A young voice, scared. This is Rebecca Torres. I was Weston's secretary. I'm pregnant, and I think he's going to kill me. Chapter 12. Tegan's penthouse overlooked Providence like a glass castle, all sharp edges and cold beauty. Rebecca Torres sat on the white couch, 17 years old and 4 months pregnant, holding tea with trembling hands. He said he loved me, she whispered, the same words every woman in Weston's orbit eventually said. They always do, Tegan replied, pouring wine for the rest of us, me, Neva, and herself. Love is just another weapon in their arsenal. I studied Rebecca. Hispanic, pretty in that way that made men like Weston feel powerful when they destroyed it. When did it start? 6 months ago, right after I turned 17, he said his marriage was over, that he was getting divorced. While fucking my wife and planning my murder, I added. And attempting to impregnate me with hormone therapy, Tegan said. The man was busy. Nevaeh pulled out her laptop. Rebecca, I need you to look at some dates. Tell me where Weston was. As they worked through the timeline, Tegan moved close to me. Margaret called me an hour ago. Wants to know if I'll support Weston's claim to the Anderson estate. And? I told her I'd consider it for the right price. She smiled, sharp as winter. She offered me $10 million. That's my money she's offering. Was your money. Will be your money again. But for now, let her think she's winning. Rebecca suddenly gasped. Oh, God. We all turned. On Nevaeh's screen was a news article. Local teen found dead. Sarah Winters, 17. You knew her? Nevaeh asked gently. She was my friend. She was seeing an older guy, too. Said he was rich, married. Rebecca's face went white. It was him, wasn't it? Weston? Yes, I said. Rebecca stood, paced to the window. He gave me pills last week. Said they were prenatal vitamins. But I Googled them. They're the same ones Sarah took before she died. Where are the pills now? Tegan asked. I kept them. Evidence. She pulled a bottle from her purse. I may be young, but I'm not stupid. Smart girl, Nevaeh said, photographing the pills. These are mifepristone. Would have caused a miscarriage, possibly death. We need to get you somewhere safe, I said. No. Rebecca's voice got stronger. I want to help. I want him to pay for Sarah. It's dangerous. So is being 17 and pregnant by a sociopath. She turned to face us. I've been recording him for weeks. Every conversation, every threat. Tegan and I exchanged glances. Show us, Tegan said. Rebecca pulled out her phone, played a recording from 3 days ago. Weston's voice. The baby has to go, Rebecca. It's your child. It's a mistake, like you were. You said you loved me. I say a lot of things. Here, take these vitamins. I'm not taking anything from you. Then I'll find another way. Accidents happen, especially to girls who don't listen. The recording ended. That's attempted murder, Nevaeh said. It's more than that, I added. It's a pattern. How many other girls, Rebecca? 3 that I know of. All young, all vulnerable. Maria, Jennifer, Aisha, all got pregnant, all had accidents or suicides. Jesus, Tegan muttered. I married a serial killer. We all did, metaphorically, I said. But now we can stop him. My phone buzzed. Andrew Davis. Need to see you urgently. Found something in Archer's files. I have to go, I said. The meeting's not over, Tegan protested. Andrew found something about my father, about the will. I'll come with you, Nevaeh offered. No, stay with Rebecca. Keep her safe. I looked at Tegan. Can she stay here? Of course. I have security, and the building's essentially a fortress. As I headed for the door, Rebecca called out, Mr. Anderson? There's something else, about Emma. I turned back. She knew about us, all of us. She helped him sometimes, gave us advice about handling the pregnancies, recommended doctors who wouldn't ask questions. Emma helped him kill those girls? Not kill, but enable. She knew what he was and didn't care. Or maybe. Rebecca paused. Maybe she enjoyed it, the power over other women. I left them there, 3 women bound by betrayal, planning revenge. As the elevator descended, I thought about Emma in her hospital bed, playing victim while complicit in murder. The streets of Providence were dark, wet with October rain. Every shadow could hide Margaret's threats, Weston's rage, Emma's lies. Andrew's house glowed like a lighthouse. He answered before I could knock. Liam, thank God. You need to see this. His study was chaos papers everywhere, documents spanning 40 years. Your father knew everything, he said. Not just about Weston. About Margaret's other child. The twin. Not Emma's mother. That was misdirection. He handed me a birth certificate. Diana Martin, born March 15, 1976, but she died at 3 days old. Crib death. So Emma's not related to Weston? Oh, she is, but not how we thought. Andrew pulled out another document. This is from a fertility clinic in Miami, 1990. Margaret Martin, age 56, underwent IVF. At 56? Using frozen embryos from 1975, Weston's sperm. She impregnated herself with her own son's child. The room tilted. Emma is. Weston's daughter and Margaret's daughter, both mother and grandmother to the same child. That's impossible. It's IVF. Anything's possible with science and insanity. Andrew showed me medical records. Emma was born in 1991, raised by adoptive parents Margaret selected. Parents who died conveniently when Emma turned 18. Margaret planned this for decades. Since the moment Archer rejected her, this isn't about money, Liam. This is about destroying the Anderson legacy from within. Using corrupted blood to poison the family tree. And Emma knows? Has known since she was 21. Margaret told her everything, trained her, sent her to meet you. Your marriage wasn't chance. It was orchestrated. I sank into a chair. Every moment of my marriage, every kiss, every birth of our daughter, all of it planned by a woman scorned in 1975. There's more, Andrew said quietly. Archer knew. Not all of it, but enough. He left you something. He handed me a key. Safety Deposit Box 1247, Providence Federal. Emma mentioned that same box number. Because there are 2 boxes with that number. Different banks. Hers has evidence she's gathered. Yours. Andrew paused. Has what Archer gathered. Enough to destroy them all, legally and permanently. What kind of evidence? Go see for yourself. But Liam? He gripped my shoulder. Once you open that box, there's no going back. What's inside will destroy everything the Anderson name, the fortune, possibly you. Some things are worth destroying, I said, pocketing the key. As I left, Andrew called out, Your father's last words to me were, Tell Liam that sometimes the only way to kill poison ivy is to burn the whole garden. Outside, the rain had turned to sleet. October in Providence, sharp and unforgiving as the truth. My phone rang. Callie. Dad? Mom's awake, and she's asking for you. Says she has something important to tell you about Margaret. Don't trust her. I don't. But Dad, she's crying. Real tears this time. And she keeps saying, I'm not her daughter, I'm her victim too. Chapter 13. Tuesday, 11:47 p.m. I sat in my dark living room waiting. The house was supposed to be empty. Callie at Sophia's, me at a business dinner that I'd made sure to announce on social media. The perfect night for a home invasion. Except I was home, and I wasn't alone. 2 minutes, Jeremiah whispered through my earpiece. He was in the panic room with 3 private security guards, watching the feeds from 12 hidden cameras. I see them, Nevaeh's voice came through. She was upstairs in Callie's room, armed with bear spray and a baseball bat. The lock clicked. Professional work, no broken windows, no forced entry. Just a door opening like they had a key, which they did. Emma's key, lifted from her hospital room. 3 men entered. I recognized one from Weston's construction crew, Danny Morello, ex-con with a talent for violence. The others were strangers, but they moved like they'd done this before. Remember, Danny whispered, make it look random. Robbery gone wrong. The wife said he keeps cash in the office safe. They split up. Danny headed for my office. One went upstairs toward Nevaeh. The third came into the living room, straight toward me. I stayed perfectly still in the wingback chair, facing away from him. Let him get closer. Closer. The floorboard creaked. He froze. Danny, he whispered. I spun, caught him in the face with the aluminum bat I'd been holding. He dropped, blood streaming from his nose. I zip-tied his hands before he could recover skills learned from YouTube, of all places. Upstairs, I heard Nevaeh's voice. Help! Someone help! Then the sound of bear spray and a man screaming. From my office, a crash. Danny had found the safe, the fake one I'd installed yesterday, filled with counterfeit bills and a GPS tracker. Got it, he called out. At least 50 grand here. I moved toward the office, staying in the shadows. Through the doorway, I could see Danny stuffing money into a bag, his back to me. Where's Rodriguez? He said into his phone. Yeah, we're almost done. No, the husband's not here. Just like planned. He listened, then laughed. Tell him his wife's information was good. After this, Anderson's insurance will set her up for life. I hit record on my phone just as Danny said the magic words. Emma Anderson hired us. Weston Rodriguez is paying. Make it look like Anderson surprised us. Fought back, lost. Except I don't lose, I said, stepping into view. Danny spun, reached for his gun, but Jeremiah was already behind him, taser pressed to his neck. Danny dropped, convulsing. Clear upstairs, Nevaeh called. This one's going to need medical attention, though. Bear spray doesn't agree with him. Clear here, Jeremiah added, zip-tying Danny. I called 911, playing the terrified homeowner. There are men in my house. They have guns. Please hurry. Then I sent a text to Emma's phone. It's done. Come home. 5 minutes later, police sirens filled the night. 2 minutes after that, Emma's BMW screeched into the driveway. She burst through the front door wearing the clothes she'd supposedly been wearing to book club. Oh my God, Liam, are you okay? I got your text and... She stopped. The police were already inside, Danny and his crew in cuffs. I was standing there, unharmed, holding my phone, which was recording everything. Mrs. Anderson? Detective Morrison, no relation to Tyler, stepped forward. We need to ask you some questions. I was at book club. No, you weren't, I said. You were at the Marriott on Route 6, room 412, with Weston Rodriguez. That's not. The hotel security footage will confirm it, just like Danny here confirmed you hired them. Danny, blood running from his nose where Jeremiah had hit him during the struggle, looked at Emma with rage. You said he wouldn't be here. I don't know this man, Emma said. Really? I pulled up my phone, showed the detective a photo. This is from our security system. You gave him a key 3 days ago in the hospital parking lot. Emma's face went white. I want a lawyer. Good idea, Detective Morrison said. You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder. Again. As they cuffed her, Emma looked at me with something like respect. You knew. I've known everything for weeks. Not everything, she said as they led her away. You don't know what Margaret really has planned, what she's been planning since before you were born. Your grandmother can't hurt me. Emma laughed, bitter and knowing. She's not my grandmother, Liam. That was another lie. Ask her about the fire. Ask her about 1980. The police car pulled away, taking Emma back to custody. This time, no bail would save her. Nevaeh came downstairs, the man she'd sprayed being helped by paramedics. You okay? Yeah. You? Never better. Nothing like a little violence to make you feel alive. Jeremiah emerged from the office with evidence bags. Got everything. Danny boy sang like a canary. Weston paid them 50 grand, promised another 50 after. Where's Weston now? According to my sources, drunk at a bar in Federal Hill. Has been all night, establishing an alibi. And Margaret? Ghost. No one's seen her since this morning. My phone rang. Callie. Dad? I just saw the news. Mom's been arrested? It's over, baby. Come home. Is it really over? I looked at the blood on my floor, the broken furniture from the staged fight, the flashing police lights outside. No, I admitted. But Emma's part is. After everyone left police, paramedics, Jeremiah's team, Navai, and I sat in my kitchen, drinking coffee I'd made myself. Emma's last words, she said, about the fire in 1980. I know. I pulled up my laptop, searched Providence Fires, 1980. Here, December 15th, 1980, residential fire, East Side, 3 dead. Who? I clicked through to the victims. My blood went cold. The Hartley family, James, Susan, and their 5-year-old son. I stopped. What? Their 5-year-old son, Liam. Navai leaned over, read the article. That's your name. That was my name, before Archer adopted me. I kept reading. The fire was ruled arson, never solved. The only survivor was a neighbor who tried to save them, a woman named Margaret Martin. She killed your birth parents, and saved me, to give to Archer, to plant a cuckoo in his nest. I laughed, bitter as Emma's coffee. I'm not just adopted, I'm a weapon. Margaret's 40-year revenge plan. That's insane. That's Margaret. I stood, paced to the window. She killed my parents, made Archer feel guilty enough to adopt me, then spent decades planning to destroy his legacy through me. But why? Because Archer got her pregnant and abandoned her. Because he chose his wife over her. Because some wounds never heal, they just fester and spread their poison. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello, Liam. Margaret's voice, smooth as silk. I heard you had some excitement tonight. Your plan failed. Oh, sweet boy. That wasn't my plan. That was Emma and Weston's clumsy attempt. My plan is still very much in motion. What plan? The one that started the night I set your parents' house on fire. The one where you discover that everything you are, everything you have exists because I allowed it. You're insane. I'm a mother scorned. There's nothing more dangerous. She paused. Check your daughter's room, Liam. Under her mattress. Emma left her a gift. The line went dead. I ran upstairs, Navai behind me. Under Callie's mattress was an envelope. Inside, photos of the fire from 1980, my parents' bodies, and 5-year-old me unconscious being carried out by Margaret. The last photo showed Margaret holding me, standing next to Archer at the adoption ceremony. On the back, in Margaret's handwriting, every father needs a son, even if that son is poisoned from the start. Chapter 14. Wednesday morning, Providence Police Department, Interview Room 3. I sat across from Detective Morrison while Emma's confession played on the laptop between us. I never meant for it to go this far. Emma's voice crackled through the speakers. She looked haggard on the screen, no makeup, hospital gown hanging loose. It was supposed to be simple. Make Liam sick, get power of attorney, take the money. Whose idea was the arsenic? Morrison's voice from behind the camera. Margaret's. She said it was tradition, that she'd used it on my adoptive parents. I felt sick. Even her adoptive parents hadn't died naturally. And Weston Rodriguez? He's... Emma paused, looked directly at the camera. He's my biological father. Morrison stopped the video. She goes on for 3 hours, details everything, the poison, the affairs, the murder plot. But here's the interesting part. He pulled up another file. This came from her phone. She'd been recording, too. The new video started. Weston's face filled the screen, post-coital sweat on his forehead. The timestamp showed last Tuesday, the night before the home invasion. Once Liam's dead, Weston said, we'll have to deal with the girl. Callie's my daughter, Emma's voice from behind the camera. She's a witness. She knows too much. She's 14. So was I when I killed my first mark. Weston lit a cigarette. Carlos Rodriguez wasn't my stepfather. He was my first target. Margaret taught me young family is just future victims. You killed your own stepfather? Practice run for Archer, though the old man proved tougher than expected. Took 3 years of poisoning before his heart gave out. The video shifted. New timestamp, 2 weeks ago. Tell me about Sarah Winters, Emma's voice. What about her? Did you love her? Weston laughed. Love? She was 17, Emma. I don't love 17-year-olds. I collect them. How many? Enough. Margaret calls them my hobby. Better than stamps, she says. And the pregnancies? Accidents. Though Margaret says there's no such thing. Says every child is either a weapon or a weakness. Which was I. You were perfect. My daughter, my lover, my accomplice. The ultimate fuck you to the Anderson family. Morrison stopped the video. There's more, hours of it. She recorded everything. Why? Insurance, probably. Or maybe some part of her knew she'd need evidence someday. He pulled out a flash drive. This is just the audio, over 300 files. I plugged in earbuds, scrolled through. Each file was labeled Weston Confession 1, Margaret Orders 3, Tyler Plan 2. I clicked on one labeled Callie Discussion. Margaret's voice. The girl is smarter than her mother. She'll be a problem. Emma. She's my daughter. She's Liam's daughter. Anderson blood, even if adopted. That makes her dangerous. I won't let you hurt her. Then you'd better hope Liam dies quickly, because if this drags out, if she figures out the truth. What? I'll handle her myself, the way I handled Liam's birth parents. The recording cut off. She knew, I said. Emma knew Margaret killed my parents. Morrison nodded. We've reopened the 1980 case. With this evidence, we might finally solve it. What about Weston? Picked him up an hour ago. He's in holding, demanding a lawyer. And Margaret? Wind, but we'll find her. A knock on the door. Another detective entered. Morrison, you need to see this. Rodriguez is talking. We moved to the observation room. Through the one-way glass, Weston sat in cuffs, his lawyer beside him. But he wasn't listening to counsel. He was ranting. She ruined everything! 40 years of planning, and that little bitch records it all! Mr. Rodriguez, his lawyer warned, please stop talking. No, they need to know. Margaret's not who she says she is. She's not even Margaret Martin. Morrison and I exchanged glances. Her real name is Dorothy Brennan. She killed the real Margaret in 1974, took her identity. She's been living a lie for 50 years. That's impossible, Morrison said. Check the fingerprints from the real Margaret's nursing school records. They won't match anything you have on file. Weston laughed, high and manic. I'm not Archer Anderson's bastard. I'm nobody's bastard. Just the son of a con woman who wanted to destroy a rich family. Then why? I started. Why go along with it? Because I wanted what you had. The money, the name, the life. And because... He paused. Because she's my mother. You do things for your mother. Even fuck your own daughter? Weston's face crumbled. I didn't know Emma was mine at first. Margaret told me she was just a tool, a way to get to you. By the time I found out, he shrugged. I was already in too deep, already in love, if you can call it that. His lawyer stood. This interview is over. But Weston kept talking. You want to know the sick part, Anderson? The really sick part? Emma knew. The whole time she knew I was her father, and she didn't care. Said it made it hotter, more forbidden. You're lying. Am I? He looked directly at the mirror, knowing I was there. Ask her about the birthday present she gave me last year. A DNA test in a fucking gift box with a bow. Now we know for sure, Daddy. That's what she said. I left the room, needing air. In the hallway, Nevi was waiting. You okay? No, none of this is okay. I found something, she said, handing me her phone. Dorothy Brennan, reported missing in 1973 from Boston. Look at the photo. It was Margaret, 50 years younger, but unmistakably her. And here, Nevaeh swiped, Margaret Martin, graduated nursing school 1973. Different woman entirely. She stole a dead woman's identity and used it to infiltrate Archer's company, to seduce him, to start this whole sick game. Why? Why Archer? Look at this. Another swipe. Archer Anderson, 1973 Boston, major real estate deal. He bought an entire neighborhood, demolished it for luxury condos. So? Dorothy Brennan's family home was in that neighborhood. Her parents died fighting the sale. Suicide pact, the papers said. Jesus. She blamed Archer for her parents' death, so she became Margaret, got close to him, got pregnant, and when he rejected her. She started a 50-year revenge plan. My phone rang. Callie. Dad, there's someone here. Says she's Mom's grandmother. My blood froze. Don't let her in. Too late. She's already inside. She says she has something you need to see. About the fire. I ran for the exit, Nevaeh behind me. Morrison called out, but I didn't stop. Margaret Dorothy, whoever she was in my house with my daughter. The woman who'd killed my parents, orchestrated my adoption, and destroyed my family was alone with the only good thing left in my life. Call backup, I told Nevaeh as we drove. Call everyone. Already did. Jeremiah's 3 minutes out. And if we're too late? We won't be. But even as she said it, I knew the truth. With Margaret, we were always too late. She'd been 3 steps ahead for 50 years. The only question was whether Callie would survive her grandmother's final move. Chapter 15. I burst through my front door to find Callie sitting calmly at the dining table, pouring tea for Margaret Martin or Dorothy Brennan, or whoever this monster really was. Both looked up at my dramatic entrance with mild surprise. Dad, Callie said, you're being rude. Margaret smiled, stirring honey into her cup. Yes, Liam. Do sit down. We're having quite an illuminating conversation about family history. Get away from my daughter. Our daughter, Margaret corrected. After all, I made you what you are. That rather makes me her grandmother, doesn't it? You killed my parents. I saved you from burning alive. There's a difference. Nevaeh appeared behind me, hand on her concealed carry. Jeremiah's team surrounded the house. I could see them through the windows. Margaret noticed, too. Such drama. I'm 76 years old, dear. Hardly a physical threat. You're Dorothy Brennan, I said. For the first time since I'd known her, genuine surprise crossed her face. Then she laughed, long and bitter. Dorothy Brennan died in 1973 when Archer Anderson demolished her world for profit. Margaret Martin was born from her ashes. She sipped her tea. Rather poetic, considering. Considering what? Considering I used fire to give Archer his son. She looked at me with something like affection. You were such a beautiful child, Liam. The Hartleys loved you so much. It almost seemed a shame. Why them? Why my parents? They weren't your parents, dear. Your biological mother was a drug addict who sold you for a fix. The Hartleys were just naive enough to adopt without asking questions, and they lived close enough to Archer to make the rescue plausible. Callie hadn't moved, but I noticed her phone in her lap, recording everything. So you killed innocent people to manipulate Archer? I gave him what he wanted most, a son to carry on his legacy. That the son came poisoned with my influence? Well, that was just justice. And Emma? My greatest creation. When I couldn't break the Andersons from outside, I bred the perfect weapon to destroy them from within. Margaret's eyes glittered. My own granddaughter, raised to seduce and destroy you. Weston's not Archer's son. No. He's mine and some random sailors from the Navy base. But DNA tests can be faked, records altered. I've had 50 years to perfect the art. Why tell us now? Because it's over. She pulled out a manila envelope. Emma's dead. The words hit like ice water. What? Suicide. An hour ago. Hanging in her cell. She left a note confessing to everything, poisoning you, killing Archer, murdering those girls. Emma didn't kill those girls. No, but she'll take the blame. The dead make excellent scapegoats. I grabbed the envelope, pulled out the death certificate, the crime scene photos. Emma, purple-faced, swinging from a torn bedsheet. You killed her, Nevaeh said. I gave her a choice, die with dignity or live with the truth. What truth? Margaret stood, walked to the window. That she was never my granddaughter, never Weston's daughter. She was nobody, just an orphan I bought and raised to be a weapon. That's not possible. The DNA tests were fake. All of them. Emma wasn't related to any of us. I told her the truth yesterday, showed her the real adoption papers. Told her she'd spent 3 years fucking a stranger, not her father. That all her suffering, all her sins, were based on a lie. You're lying now. Am I? She pulled out more papers. Emma Louise Harrison, born 1991 to teenage parents in Detroit. Sold through black market adoption at 6 months. Purchased by me for $50,000. I read the documents. They looked real. She thought she was continuing a family tradition, Margaret continued. Thought she was a Martin woman, strong and poisonous. Finding out she was nobody, just a tool I'd purchased and programmed, it broke her. You broke her. I made her. And when she outlived her usefulness, I unmade her. Margaret turned back to us. Just like I made you, Liam, and just like I could unmake you. Try it, Callie said suddenly. We all looked at her. My 14-year-old daughter stood, faced Margaret directly. Try to unmake us. See what happens. Margaret studied her. You have spirit. Real Anderson spirit, even without the blood. I have more than that. Callie pulled out her phone. I have this conversation recorded. I have the FBI on speed dial, and I have something you don't. What's that, dear? A father who loves me. A real family, not one built on lies and poison. Callie stepped closer. You spent 50 years destroying families because yours was taken, but you never built anything real. Even Weston isn't really your son, is he? Margaret's composure cracked slightly. Callie continued. I did my research. Dorothy Brennan couldn't have children, medical condition from childhood polio. So whose baby did you steal to play your sick game? Silence stretched between them. Wesley Rodriguez, Margaret finally said. His mother died in childbirth. His father didn't want him. I took him, raised him, made him mine. Made him a monster. Made him strong. Made him a killer, a predator, a broken man who thought love meant destruction. Callie's voice was steady, adult. But you know what? He's still alive. He can still testify, still tell the truth about Dorothy Brennan. He won't. He loves his mother. Does he? Or does he love the idea of her, the lie of her? Callie smiled, cold as Margaret. Because I played him the recording, the one where you admit he's not really yours, where you call him that stupid boy and plan to let him take the fall for everything. Margaret went very still. You didn't know Emma was recording you too, did you? Callie pulled up a file on her phone. Margaret's voice filled the room. Weston served his purpose. Once Liam's dead and I have control of Callie, Weston can rot in prison, or die. I don't particularly care which. When Margaret started, last week, when you thought Emma was showering, she left her phone recording in her purse. Callie looked at me. Mom was evil, but she wasn't stupid. She knew Margaret would eventually turn on her. You little careful, Nevaeh interrupted, hand on her gun. Threatening a minor in front of witnesses isn't smart. Margaret laughed, bitter and defeated. It doesn't matter. You have no real evidence. Dorothy Brennan is dead. Margaret Martin is a respected member of society. And Liam. She looked at me. Liam is still the son I gave Archer, the poisoned gift that destroyed the Anderson legacy. No, I said. I'm the son who survived your poison, who built a real family despite your lies, who's going to watch you go to prison for the rest of your miserable life. Police sirens filled the air. Morrison and his team were arriving. The real Margaret Martin, I said. The nurse whose identity you stole. She had family, a sister in California who always wondered what happened to her. She's flying in tomorrow to identify you. Margaret's face finally showed fear. 50 years of lies, Dorothy, all unraveling because you couldn't resist coming here, couldn't resist gloating. As the police entered, as Morrison read her rights, Margaret looked at Callie one last time. You would have been magnificent, she said. With my guidance, you could have ruled Providence. I'd rather be good than great, Callie replied. I'd rather be loved than feared. Your loss. No, Callie said as they led Margaret away. Yours. You lost everything the day you chose revenge over healing, the day you became poison instead of medicine. After they left, after the house was quiet, I held my daughter. How did you know? I asked. About Dorothy Brennan? I didn't. But someone that evil had to be hiding something fundamental. So I guessed. You guessed? Educated guess. Plus, Nevaeh texted me the information while Margaret was monologuing. I looked at Nevaeh, who shrugged. Kid needed backup. Emma's really dead? Callie asked quietly. Yeah, baby, she is. Did Margaret really kill her? I don't know. Maybe Emma couldn't live with the truth. Maybe Margaret helped. Either way, she's gone. Callie was quiet for a moment. She was a terrible mother, but she was still my mother. I know. Can we? Can we have a funeral? A real one? Of course. And Dad? What happens to Weston now? I thought about the man who'd fucked his supposed daughter, who'd killed teenage girls, who'd destroyed so many lives. Justice, I said. Finally, justice. Chapter 16, Thursday afternoon. I stood in Andrew Davis's office, staring at the DNA results that changed everything. Again. Run it once more, I said. Liam, we've run it 3 times. The results are consistent. Andrew spread the papers across his desk. Emma was telling the truth in her suicide note. She wasn't related to Weston, or Margaret, or anyone in this sick family tree. Then why? Because Margaret is a master manipulator. She convinced Emma she was carrying family poison in her veins, made her believe the incest was real. He pulled up a video on his laptop. This came from Emma's cloud storage, uploaded an hour before she died. Emma appeared on screen, sitting in her cell, looking directly at the camera. If you're watching this, I'm dead. And I deserve to be. Her voice was calm, resolved. I spent 3 years believing I was fucking my father. 3 years letting that excitement, that sickness, drive me. The taboo of it, the power of it. She laughed, bitter and broken. But it was all a lie. Margaret showed me the real papers yesterday. I'm nobody. Just Emma Harrison from Detroit, bought and paid for like a pet, trained to seduce, to destroy, to poison. She held up a photo of her as a baby with her biological parents. Teenagers, poor, desperate. They sold me for drug money. Margaret bought me for revenge. And she paused. I loved her for it. Loved feeling special, chosen, dangerous. Even when I thought I was committing incest, I loved the power of being so fundamentally broken that normal rules didn't apply. Jesus, Andrew muttered. Emma continued. But finding out it was fake? That I'd degraded myself, destroyed my family, killed for a lie? There's no coming back from that, so I'm choosing the only honest thing I've ever done, removing myself from the equation. She looked directly at the camera, at me. Liam, I did love you once. Before Margaret, before Weston, before I knew what I was meant to be. There were maybe 6 months when our marriage was real. I want you to know that. And Callie. Baby, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I poisoned you not with arsenic, but with my presence, my lies, my weakness. You're better off without me. You're strong like your father, good like he used to be before I rotted him from the inside. She stood, began fashioning the bedsheet. Tell Weston the baby was never real. Tell Margaret she won, and tell the world. She paused. Tell them Emma Anderson died knowing exactly what she was nothing. The video ended. Andrew closed the laptop. The guard found her 20 minutes later. She knew we were watching. The camera's in her cell. Yes, she wanted us to see. Wanted it documented. My phone rang. Tegan. You need to get to the courthouse, she said. Weston's lost his mind. The courthouse was chaos. Media everywhere, drawn by the scandal, incest, murder, suicide, 5 decades of lies. Weston was being arraigned, charged with multiple counts of murder. I found Tegan in the gallery. She looked satisfied. He fired his lawyer, she said. Says he wants to represent himself. That's insane. That's Weston. The bailiff called order. Weston was brought in, shackled but defiant. He looked at me, smiled. Your Honor, he began. I want to make a statement. Mr. Rodriguez, you're advised to, I waive my rights, all of them. I want the world to know the truth. The judge sighed. Proceed. Weston stood straighter. Everything I did for love. Love of a mother who saved me from foster care. Love of a woman I thought was my daughter. Love of a legacy stolen from me before I was born. Mr. Rodriguez, I killed Archer Anderson. The courtroom gasped. I poisoned him slowly, watched him die, and felt nothing but satisfaction. He was my biological father, and he abandoned me. Except he wasn't, I called out. Everyone turned. He wasn't your father, I continued, standing. Margaret lied. You're Wesley Rodriguez, son of Maria Rodriguez, who died in childbirth. Your father was stationed at the Navy base. Margaret stole you, claimed you, raised you on lies. You're lying. DNA doesn't lie. I held up the papers. You're nobody's son but a sailor who didn't want you and a woman who died bringing you into this world. Weston's face crumbled. No, I'm an Anderson. You're nothing. Just like Emma was nothing. Tools Margaret bought or stole to destroy my family. Liar! Weston lunged forward, constrained by shackles. I'm an Anderson. You deserve exactly what you're getting. Life in prison for killing teenage girls who trusted you. They were whores. All of them. Emma was a whore. Emma was a victim. You all were. Margaret's victims, raised on poison and lies. The judge banged his gavel. Order! But Weston kept screaming, I fucked my daughter, my own flesh and blood. That means something. It means you fucked a stranger, I said quietly. A broken woman who thought degradation was love. There was no grand perversion, no family curse, just two damaged people. Margaret aimed at each other like weapons. Weston collapsed, sobbing. The bailiffs dragged him out. In the hallway afterward, Tegan found me. That was cruel, she said. That was necessary. He'll kill himself now. You know that. Maybe. Or maybe he'll live with the truth. Either way, he can't hurt anyone else. Rebecca Torres approached, visibly pregnant, brave despite everything. Mr. Anderson, thank you for stopping him. I'm sorry I didn't stop him sooner. You didn't know. I should have. She touched her belly. This baby will never know him. Never know any of this. I'll make sure. Good. As she walked away, Navaye appeared. Callie's asking for you. She's at the cemetery. Emma's funeral? No, she's at Archer's grave. I found my daughter standing before my father's headstone, flowers in her hand. Hey, I said softly. Do you think he knew? She asked. Grandfather, do you think he knew how it would all end? I think he knew Margaret would try to destroy us. I don't think he knew how far she'd go. She killed your real parents. Emma's real parents died in a car accident when she was 18. Margaret probably arranged that too. Weston's adoptive father dead. All those girls. Callie placed the flowers carefully. How does someone become that poisonous? Pain, I said. Untreated pain that metastasizes into rage. Could we become like that? No. How do you know? Because we're choosing not to. Every day we're choosing healing over hurting. Even after everything? Especially after everything. Callie leaned against me. Dad? I'm glad Emma wasn't really related to Weston. It makes it less sick somehow. Yeah, but also sadder. She destroyed everything for a lie. Margaret's lie. Still, she looked up at me. Promise me something? Anything. No more secrets, no more lies, even small ones. I promise. And Dad? We're going to be okay, right? I thought about Margaret in custody, Weston falling apart, Emma dead, our family shattered and rebuilt. We're going to be better than okay, I said. We're going to be free. Thunder rumbled overhead, Providence preparing for another storm, but for the first time in years, I wasn't afraid of the rain. Chapter 17, Saturday night. The text came at 9:47 p.m. Weston's out. Made bail. He's coming for you. I stared at Tegan's message, processing. How did someone charged with multiple murders make bail? The answer came 30 seconds later. Margaret's lawyer. Posted $5 million. She's not done with you. Dad? Callie stood in my office doorway, pajamas on, holding her phone. There's someone outside. I moved to the window. A shadow by the garden gate, barely visible in the moonlight. Panic room, I said. Now. But now, Callie. She ran. I grabbed the gun from my desk drawer, purchased legally 3 days ago after Emma's death. Amazing how attempted murder clarifies your position on home defense. The front door exploded inward, not picked, not forced, destroyed. Weston stood in the wreckage, wild-eyed, holding a gas can in one hand and a lighter in the other. Poetic, don't you think? His voice was hoarse from screaming in court. Margaret used fire to give you to Archer. I'll use fire to take you away. Weston, don't! He started pouring gasoline on my hardwood floors, the smell instantly overwhelming. Don't say my name, don't tell me who I'm not, just let me finish this. Finish what? The plan. Margaret's plan. It has to mean something. He laughed, manic. If it doesn't mean anything, then Emma died for nothing. I fucked my daughter for nothing. Those girls died for nothing. They did die for nothing. That's the tragedy. No, no. If you die, if the Anderson line ends, then it meant something. Justice, revenge, something. He kept pouring gasoline, moving deeper into the house. I backed up, keeping distance between us. She called me, he said, from jail. Margaret. Told me I had one last chance to prove I was worthy of being her son. You're not her son. I know. He threw the empty gas can aside, pulled out a second one. But I can pretend. One last time I can pretend I'm someone. That I matter. You matter to Rebecca, to your unborn child. That's not my child. Vasectomy, remember? He laughed again. Another lie. Rebecca was fucking her sociology professor. Everyone's fucking everyone except who they're supposed to. He pulled out a gun. Where did he get a gun? And aimed it at me. Here's how this goes, he said. You die. I burn the house. Tell them you killed yourself out of grief. Emma's death broke you. No one will believe that. Margaret's lawyer will make them believe. He's very good. Got me out, didn't he? Where's Callie? Does it matter? If she's here, she burns too. Tragic murder-suicide. Father couldn't live with what he'd done. What I'd done? Driving Emma to suicide. Destroying your own family. He cocked the gun. You're the villain, Liam. You've always been the villain. Margaret just helped us see it. The shot was impossibly loud, but it wasn't Weston's gun. He looked down at his shoulder, blood blooming through his shirt. Behind him, Nevaeh stood in the doorway, smoking pistol steady in her hands. Drop the gun, she said calmly. Instead, Weston raised it toward her. She shot him again, this time in the leg. He crumpled, gun skittering across the gas-soaked floor. Lighter, I said. He has a lighter. But Weston was already flicking it, face twisted in a final smile. We all burned together. The spark caught the fumes before the liquid. A wall of blue flame raced across the floor. Weston screamed as his gas-soaked clothes ignited. Callie! I ran for the panic room, Nevaeh beside me. The house was already filling with smoke, 100-year-old wood eager to burn. The panic room door was sealed, fireproof, for 30 minutes. I punched in the code. Empty. She's not here. Back door, Nevaeh said. She must have run. We fought through smoke and heat. The kitchen was an inferno, Weston's screams fading behind us. Out the back door, across the lawn, lungs burning from smoke. Callie! Dad! She was by the pool house with Jeremiah, who'd appeared from nowhere as always. Saw the flames from the road, he said. Got her out through the basement. Weston? Still inside. We watched my family home burn, orange flames licking at the Providence sky. Sirens approached, too late for the house, too late for Weston. Should we try to save him? Callie asked quietly. No, I said. But he made his choice. The roof collapsed in a shower of sparks. If Weston was still alive, he wasn't anymore. It's over, Nevaeh said. No, I corrected, watching my past turn to ash. Margaret's still out there. This isn't over until she's done. My phone rang. Unknown number. Spectacular, Margaret's voice amused, though not quite what I planned. Your weapon is dead. Weston was never my weapon, dear. He was a distraction. From what? From what's happening right now. While you've been playing hero, I've been busy. Check your bank accounts. I pulled up my phone, logged into my banking app. Or tried to. Account not found. What did you do? Your IT boy, Tyler? Before he died, tragic accident. By the way, he gave me everything. Passwords, routing numbers, offshore accounts. It's all gone, Liam. Every penny of the Anderson fortune transferred to untraceable accounts. That's impossible. There are safeguards, which Tyler disabled. You're broke, dear. Homeless now, too. How does it feel to have nothing? I have Callie, for now. But a homeless, penniless father? Courts don't look kindly on that, especially when evidence surfaces of your mental instability. The paranoia, the cameras, the conspiracy theories about your poor wife. You're insane. I'm thorough. 50 years of planning, Liam. Did you think I'd leave anything to chance? The FBI will find nothing. Dorothy Brennan doesn't exist, remember? Margaret Martin is a respected philanthropist who tried to help her troubled grandson-in-law. Such a shame how paranoia runs in the Anderson family. The line went dead. I stood there watching my house burn, fortune stolen, Emma dead, Weston dying in flames, and Margaret free. Dad? Callie took my hand. What do we do now? I thought about Archer, about legacy, about poison and fire and the price of revenge. Now, I said, we disappear, and we plan, and we wait. For what? For Margaret to make a mistake. She's 76, driven by rage, and just lost her last weapon. She'll get desperate, and when she does, we'll be ready, Nevaeh finished. No, I said, watching the flames reflect in my daughter's eyes. We'll be better than ready. We'll be exactly what she made us survivors. Fire trucks arrived, hosing down the inferno that used to be my life. But I felt oddly calm. Margaret had taken everything except what mattered, and what mattered was standing beside me, holding my hand, stronger than any legacy of poison and lies. Where will we go? Callie asked. Somewhere Margaret won't think to look. Where's that? I smiled, thinking of the one place Margaret's influence couldn't reach, the one person she'd never turned. Detroit, I said. We're going to find Emma's real family. Chapter 18. Detroit was nothing like Providence sprawling where my city was compact, broken where we pretended wholeness. But it was perfect for disappearing. We'd been here 3 days, living in a motel under false names Jeremiah had arranged, when I found Emma's biological mother. Linda Harrison worked the night shift at a 24-hour laundromat, 53 years old, but looking 70, meth recovery written in every line of her face. You're him, she said when I introduced myself. Emma's husband. I seen you on the news. I need to know about Emma, the real Emma. Nothing to know. Sold her when she was 6 months old. 50 grand to some lady promised she'd have a better life. Linda laughed bitterly. Guess that didn't work out. The lady described her. Old. Not old, but older. Fancy clothes, talked like money. Said Emma would grow up special, important. Did she say anything else? Just that Emma was perfect for her purposes. That she'd been looking for the right baby for years. Linda lit a cigarette with shaking hands. I was 17, strung out, desperate. Would have sold her for $1 grand. 50 seemed like winning the lottery. Do you regret it? Every fucking day. But look at me, would she have been better off here? At least she got to be rich for a while. She's dead. I know. Saw that too. Linda studied me. You hate her? I don't know anymore. She was a sweet baby, quiet, watchful, like she was studying the world, figuring out how it worked. Linda stubbed out her cigarette. That woman who bought her, she's still alive? Unfortunately. You going after her? Yes. Good. Emma might have turned out wrong, but she started innocent. That woman stole her innocence, turned her into something else. Linda looked at me directly. You make that bitch pay. Back at the motel, Callie was on my laptop, Navi teaching her advanced search techniques. Found something, Callie said. Tyler Morrison didn't die in an accident. What? She turned the screen toward me. Security footage from a parking garage. Tyler meeting with someone the night he died. The grainy footage showed Tyler with a woman. Not Margaret, younger, blonde, familiar. That's Tegan, Nevaeh said. Why would Tegan keep watching? Tyler handed Tegan something a flash drive. She handed him an envelope. Then she pulled out a syringe, stabbed him in the neck. He dropped instantly. She killed him, I breathed. And made it look like an overdose, Callie added. But Dad, look at the timestamp. This was before Margaret supposedly got the passwords from Tyler. Which means Tegan's been working with Margaret all along. My phone rang, Andrew Davis. Liam, thank God, where are you? Safe. What's wrong? Tegan Rodriguez just claimed the entire Anderson estate. She says Weston signed it over to her before he died. That's impossible. He was in jail. She has documents, signatures, witnesses, and with you missing, presumed dead in the fire. I'm not dead. Prove it. Come back to Providence. So Margaret can finish the job? Margaret's in custody. Has been for 2 days. What about Tegan? What about her? She's the grieving widow inheriting her husband's estate. I hung up, mind racing. Tegan. She'd played us all. We need those recordings, I told Callie. The ones from Archer's safety deposit box. Box was emptied, Nevi said, checking her phone. Yesterday, by someone with your signature and a death certificate. Tegan. Has to be. No, wait. Callie pulled up another file. I backed everything up. Everything from grandfather's box, from Emma's records, from Mom's phone, it's all in the cloud. Under what account? Mine. My school account Margaret doesn't know about. You beautiful genius. I hugged her. What's on Archer's recordings? She clicked through files, found one labeled Final Message. Archer appeared on screen days before his death. He looked terrible, thin, gray, dying. Liam, he said, if you're watching this, they've killed me. Margaret, Weston, maybe others. But here's what they don't know: I've been playing dead for years. He held up documents. The Anderson fortune everyone thinks exists? It's gone. Has been for 5 years. I donated everything to charity, anonymously, irrevocably. The houses, the accounts, the company, all of it's leveraged to nothing. What? I paused the video. He gave it all away? Nevaeh asked. Keep watching, Callie said. Archer continued. What they're fighting over is debt. Beautiful, crushing debt. Whoever inherits the Anderson estate inherits nothing but obligations. Hundreds of millions in hidden liabilities that will only activate upon my death. He smiled. The first genuine smile I'd ever seen from him. I spent my life building an empire on others' misfortune. This is my penance. The charities have the real money. My supposed heirs get nothing but the bill for my sins. But, he held up a key. I did save something for you, Liam. Something real. Your birth parents had life insurance. I've been investing it for 30 years. It's not Anderson money, it's Hartley money. Clean money. About 10 million, in a trust Margaret knows nothing about. He gave an address. A bank in Boston. Be better than I was, son. The real inheritance isn't money, it's the chance to break the cycle. The video ended. He knew, I said. He knew everything and let them poison him anyway. Because he was already dying, Nevaeh pointed out. Why not let them think they'd won? So Tegan. Just inherited massive debt, Callie grinned. And she doesn't know it yet. My phone rang. Tegan. Hello, Liam. I heard you survived. Pity. Hello, Tegan. Enjoying my money? My money now. Weston was Archer's heir. I'm Weston's widow. Simple inheritance law. Did Margaret put you up to this? Margaret, she laughed. That old bitch is in solitary, probably heading for life in prison. No, this was all me. I've been planning this since I married Weston. You knew what he was. I knew he was useful. A violent idiot with a claim to fortune. Seduce him, document his crimes, let him destroy you and Emma, then inherit everything as the innocent widow. Tyler Morrison? Knew too much. Besides, pinning his death on Margaret was easy. She's so obviously guilty of everything else. You're forgetting something. What's that? I'm alive, and I have evidence. From where? Your house burned, Emma's dead, Weston's dead, Margaret's in prison. You have nothing. I have Archer's final message. Silence. You're lying. The Anderson fortune is gone, Tegan. What you inherited is debt. About 300 million worth. Congratulations. That's impossible. Check the records. The real records, not the ones Tyler falsified. Archer liquidated everything years ago. But the houses mortgaged to the foundation. The accounts, empty shells. The company, debt-leveraged buyout that comes due. Tomorrow, actually. Long silence. You're lying, she said, but uncertainty crept into her voice. Call the lawyers. Ask them about the Henderson Fund obligations, the Marwick Trust penalties, the dissolution clauses that trigger on inheritance. Even if that's true, you're still broke. No, I'm free. There's a difference. I'll kill you. Like you killed Tyler? Like you tried to kill me? Get in line. You don't understand, I hung up. Now what? Callie asked. Now we go to Boston, get what Archer really left us. And then? Then we go home, face whatever's left. But home burned down. Providence is home, not the house. I looked at my daughter, my chosen family. We're going to rebuild, without poison, without lies. And Margaret? We'll rot in prison knowing she destroyed everything for nothing. The Anderson fortune she wanted to steal never existed. The revenge she sought cost her everything. And the family she tried to destroy? I stood, pulled Callie into a hug, nodded to Nevaeh. We're still standing. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Tegan Rodriguez found dead in Providence home. Apparent suicide. Financial documents found suggesting massive fraud and debt. She couldn't face it, Nevaeh said, reading over my shoulder. Or Margaret had her killed from prison, I suggested. Does it matter? I thought about it. Emma dead, Weston dead, Tegan dead, Margaret in prison, Tyler dead. The entire twisted web finally collapsed. No, I said. It doesn't matter. They're all ghosts now. And us? Callie asked. We're alive, and that's enough. Thunder rumbled outside, Detroit rain starting to fall. But for the first time in months, it didn't feel like a threat. It felt like washing clean. Chapter 19. The Boston Bank was old money personified, marble columns, hushed voices, the smell of leather and legacy. The safety deposit box required 3 keys. One Archer had hidden, one from his lawyer, and one that had been mailed to Callie on her 14th birthday with no explanation. Until now. Mr. Anderson, the bank manager said, we've been expecting you for quite some time. The vault was prehistoric, all brass and steel. Box 1837 was larger than most, requiring 2 people to lift. Inside, cash, but not much, documents, and a hard drive labeled The Truth. Back in our hotel, I plugged in the drive. Hundreds of hours of video, audio, surveillance. Archer had been recording everything for the last decade of his life. This is from 2013, Callie said, clicking a file. Archer appeared, younger but already suspicious. Margaret Martin came to my office today, he said to the camera. Wanted to apologize for the past. After 37 years, I don't believe in coincidences. Another file, 2015. Weston Rodriguez has been circling Emma. I've warned Liam, but he's in love. Can't see the trap closing. 2017. They're poisoning me. Small doses, probably arsenic. I could stop them, but why? I'm already dying pancreatic cancer, stage 3. Let them think they're winning. 2019. Just weeks before his death. Liam, if you're watching this, know that I chose my death. Chose to let them kill me because it was the only way to expose them. Every crime they've committed is documented here. He held up a thick folder. Margaret Martin is actually Dorothy Brennan, you know that by now. But what you don't know is that I've been feeding her false information for years. The fortune she thinks exists, the accounts, the properties, all fabrications. Jesus, Nevaeh muttered. I created an entire false financial empire for her to chase. Every document she's stolen, every account she's accessed fake. The real money went to victims of my business practices, families I destroyed building my empire. He looked directly at the camera. I was not a good man, Liam. I destroyed Dorothy's family, drove her parents to suicide, created the monster she became. This is my penance. Another video labeled Margaret Confessions, Margaret's voice recorded on a hidden mic. I've been planning this for 43 years. Every move, every manipulation, stealing baby Liam from the fire I set, giving him to Archer, buying Emma as an infant, raising her to seduce him. Even Weston, not really my son, just another stolen child raised on lies. Why? Archer's voice. Because you destroyed my family, so I destroyed yours, from the inside, with your own son. Liam's been a good son. Liam's been a perfect weapon. He just doesn't know it yet. The recording continued, Margaret detailing every crime. The murders, the poisonings, the psychological torture of Emma, the grooming of Weston. This is enough to keep her in prison forever, I said. There's more, Callie said, pointing to a folder labeled Rebecca. I clicked it. Video from 2 years ago, Rebecca Torres, but younger, maybe 15. "Mr. Anderson," she said to Archer, "I'm pregnant. Weston Rodriguez is the father. Does he know?" "Yes. He gave me pills, said they were vitamins. But I researched them, they're abortion pills." "Why are you telling me?" "Because you're his father, aren't you? His real father?" "No, but I know who is." "Who?" "Nobody. He's nobody's son, just a weapon Margaret created." "Then why do you care?" "Because you're somebody's daughter, and you don't deserve this." Archer gave her money, helped her disappear. But she came back, we'd seen that. Another folder. Sarah Winters. Videos of Sarah, 16, beautiful, doomed. "He says he loves me," she told someone off-camera, Archer, based on the timestamp. "But I know he doesn't. Men like him don't love. They collect." "Then why stay?" "Because I'm collecting too. Evidence. He's killed other girls. I'm going to prove it." But she died before she could. "Your grandfather tried to save them," Neve said. "All of them." "While letting himself be poisoned," I added. "To gather evidence," Callie pointed out. "To document everything." The last folder was labeled, "For Callie." My daughter clicked it hesitantly. Archer appeared, very near death. "Callie, you won't remember me much. But I want you to know something. You're the only pure thing in this poisoned family. Your father isn't my biological son, but he's more Anderson than Weston ever was. And you're the future." He smiled. "I've left you something. Not money, money corrupts, but knowledge. In this drive is everything you need to understand how wealth and power really work, how to build them, how to destroy them, how to use them for good. Don't become me," he continued. "Don't become Margaret. Become something better. The Anderson name dies with me, all the debt, all the sins. But you can build something new, clean, real. I wish I'd been a better grandfather, but perhaps dying to protect you is enough." The video ended. We sat in silence, processing. My phone rang. Detective Morrison. "Liam, Margaret's dead." "What?" "Suicide. Real one this time. Hung herself in her cell an hour ago. Left a note." "What did it say?" "I won." "She didn't win." "No, but she died thinking she did. Maybe that's mercy." After I hung up, Callie asked, "Is it really over?" "The killing? Yes. The poison? Yes. But the aftermath." "We rebuild," Neve said firmly. "With the Hartley money. With Archer's knowledge. With the truth. In Providence. Where else? It's home. Home burned down. Then we build a new one, without ghosts." I looked at the drive, containing 40 years of secrets, crimes, evidence. "What do we do with this?" Callie asked. "We give it to the FBI. Let them sort through the bodies, the crimes, the connections. All of it? Everything except Archer's lessons for you. Those we keep." "And us?" Nevaeh asked. "What happens to us?" I looked at this woman who'd saved my life, helped avenge her sister, stood by us through hell. "What do you want to happen?" "I want to finish law school, help girls like Sarah, Rebecca, use what we've learned to stop the next Margaret before she starts." "And you?" I asked Callie. "I want to go home, back to school, be normal for a while. After everything. Especially after everything." She looked at me. "We survived, Dad. Now I want to live." That night in a Boston hotel, I destroyed the last of the evidence, not the crimes. Those went to police, but the personal things. Emma's diary, Weston's love letters, Margaret's plans for Callie. Some poison needs to be burned, not preserved. Chapter 20. The Restaurant, 6 months later. The new restaurant on Federal Hill wasn't fancy, just good food, clean lines, honest prices. Nevaeh had insisted on calling it Fresh Start, which was a bit on the nose, but then subtlety had never been our strong suit. "Table for 4?" the hostess asked. "3, I corrected. "My daughter's running late." She led us to a corner booth where Rebecca Torres waited, 6-month-old daughter sleeping in a carrier beside her. She looked good, healthy, young, free. "Liam," she smiled. "Neva, thanks for coming." "How's law school?" Neve asked, sliding in beside her. "Exhausting, but worth it." Rebecca adjusted her daughter's blanket. Sarah would have been proud. We'd named the scholarship after Sarah Winters' full ride to Roger Williams Law for young women escaping abuse. funded by the Hartley Trust, administered by Nevaeh. Any word from the FBI? Rebecca asked. Margaret's network is completely dismantled. 17 arrests so far. The trafficking, the murders, the financial crimes it all led back to her. And the Anderson estate? Dissolved. Creditors got what little was left after the debts. The Anderson name officially died with the paperwork. Good riddance, Nevaeh said. Callie arrived, soccer uniform dirty, smiling. Sorry. Practice ran over. She'd grown 3 inches, looked more like Emma every day, but with Archer's sharp intelligence and my stubborn survival instinct. How's the team? Rebecca asked. We're going to States, Callie beamed. Also, I got into Phillips Exeter, full scholarship. You're leaving? I tried not to sound hurt. It's just New Hampshire, Dad, and it's the best education in New England. Archer would be proud, Nevaeh said. Archer would understand, Callie corrected. Pride was his weakness. The waitress brought our food nothing fancy, nothing poisoned, just good Italian from recipes that predated all our trauma. I have news too, Nevaeh announced. Past the bar. That's amazing, Rebecca and Callie said together. And, Nevaeh continued, looking at me, I'm pregnant. The table went silent. It's yours, she added unnecessarily. 3 months. I wanted to be sure before. Before telling me? Before believing it myself, that something good could come from all this. I reached across the table, took her hand. Something good did come from this. Several somethings. Ugh, you're not going to get mushy, are you? Callie complained, but she was smiling. To family, Rebecca raised her water glass. The kind you choose. To survival, Nevaeh added. To fresh starts, I continued. To Sarah, Callie finished, and all the girls who didn't make it. We clinked glasses, and I thought about the ghosts Emma, Weston, Margaret, Archer, all poisoned by revenge, greed, the past. But we were the antidote, the survivors who chose healing over hurting. Dad, Callie said, tell me about the Hartleys, your real parents. I'd been researching them, finding photos, stories. James was a teacher. Susan was a nurse. They tried for years to have kids, finally adopted me when I was 3. What were they like? Good, simply uncomplicatedly good. They loved baseball, hated Brussels sprouts, sang off-key in the car. I smiled. They would have loved you. And they would have been proud, Nevaeh added, of who you became despite everything. Because of everything, I corrected. Margaret thought she was creating weapons. Instead, she created warriors. Warriors who open restaurants? Rebecca teased. Warriors who survive, who protect others, who break cycles. Baby Sarah stirred, cried softly. Rebecca lifted her, and we all saw it Weston's eyes, but without the cruelty, without the poison. She'll never know him, Rebecca said. Good, we all said together. Later, after dinner, Callie and I walked Providence's streets. The Anderson estate had been demolished, turned into a public park. We stood where my office used to be, where Emma had served poisoned coffee, where everything had started and ended. Do you miss it? Callie asked. The house? No. The innocence? Sometimes. We were never innocent, Dad. We were just ignorant. When did you get so wise? When I realized wisdom was the only inheritance worth having. We stood there, father and daughter, survivors of a war we hadn't started but had definitely finished. You know what the irony is? I said. What? Margaret spent 50 years trying to destroy the Anderson family. But there was no Anderson family, just a bunch of broken people pretending connection. She destroyed an illusion. And created something real in the process. Us. My phone buzzed. A text from Andrew Davis. Final estate document requires your signature. After this, you're officially no longer an Anderson. I showed Callie. What will our name be? She asked. Hartley, I said. Liam and Callie Hartley. I like it. Fresh start with an old name. Your grandparents' name. Your real grandparents. The ones who loved you without agenda. Yes. We walked back toward the restaurant where Nevaeh and Rebecca were planning the baby shower, discussing normal things like cribs and names and whether Providence schools were good enough. Normal things. Beautiful, poison-free things. Dad? Callie said as we reached the door. Yeah? We won, didn't we? I thought about Emma in the ground, Weston burned alive, Margaret hanging in her cell, Tegan's suicide, Tyler's overdose, all the blood, all the poison, all the waste. No, I said. We survived. There's a difference. What's the difference? Winners need losers. Survivors just need tomorrow. And we have tomorrow? We have all the tomorrows. Poison-free, ghost-free tomorrows. We went inside where our chosen family waited, where new life grew, where fresh starts were measured in small victories and clean coffee. The Anderson legacy was dead. The Hartley future had just begun. Chapter 21. 1 year after the fire, the courtroom in Providence Superior Court was packed, despite the defendants being dead. The estate trial of Anderson v. State of Rhode Island would determine who inherited what from the ashes of 5 destroyed lives and whether anyone would pay for the survivors. I sat in the plaintiff's chair, no longer Liam Anderson, but legally Liam Hartley now, watching Judge Patricia Morse review the mountain of evidence we'd submitted. Beside me, Andrew Davis organized papers with the precision of a man who'd waited decades for this moment. Mr. Hartley, Judge Morse began, peering over her glasses. The court has reviewed the extensive documentation provided regarding the fraudulent manipulation of the Anderson estate. The evidence is overwhelming. Behind us, reporters scribbled notes. The Anderson scandal had become Providence legend incest, murder, 50 years of revenge. But today wasn't about the dead. It was about the living. The court finds that Margaret Martin, born Dorothy Brennan, engaged in systematic fraud, identity theft, and murder, the judge continued. Her estate, such as it remains, is hereby ordered to pay damages to the victims' families. What estate? Someone muttered behind me. She died with nothing. They were wrong. Jeremiah had found Margaret's real assets properties bought under shell companies, accounts in the Caymans, 50 years of stolen wealth hidden like a dragon's hoard. Furthermore, Judge Morse said, the court recognizes the legitimate claim of Liam Hartley to the Hartley Family Trust, established by James and Susan Hartley before their murder in 1980. $10 million. Clean money from my real parents' life insurance, invested by Archer for 30 years, the only untainted inheritance in this whole poisoned mess. Regarding the Anderson estate itself, this was the moment. Would the creditors get it all? Would the state seize it? Given that Archer Anderson deliberately dissolved his assets to prevent their criminal use, and that all claimants to said estate are either deceased or have been found criminally liable, the court orders the remaining Anderson properties be converted to public use. Specifically, a shelter for domestic violence victims. I smiled. Archer would have appreciated the irony. Mr. Hartley, the judge addressed me directly. The court also acknowledges the claim for damages against the Rodriguez estate, given Weston Rodriguez's attempted murder of you and your daughter. Tegan's estate, she'd inherited Weston's debts, then killed herself, leaving a tangled mess of liability that my lawyers had spent months untangling. However, the judge continued, there is one complication. My stomach dropped. There was always a complication. Rebecca Torres has filed a paternity claim on behalf of her minor daughter. Rebecca stood in the gallery, holding 1-year-old Sarah. The baby had Weston's eyes, but Rebecca's gentle spirit. Ms. Torres is not seeking financial support, Judge Morse clarified. Rather, she's requesting that any funds recovered from the Rodriguez estate be placed in trust for the minor children affected by these crimes. I agree, I said, standing. Andrew grabbed my arm, lawyer instincts kicking in, but I continued. Your Honor, that baby is innocent. She deserves whatever can be salvaged from this wreckage. Rebecca nodded at me, tears in her eyes. Very well, Judge Morse said. The court will establish a victims' trust. All recovered assets from the Martin, Rodriguez, and Anderson criminal enterprises will be distributed among the surviving victims. She banged her gavel. This matter is concluded. Mr. Hartley, the court extends its sympathies for your losses and commends your grace in victory. Grace in victory. If she only knew how many nights I'd dreamed of burning them all alive, how close I'd come to becoming like them. Outside the courthouse, November wind sharp as memory, Nevaeh waited with Callie. My daughter had grown another 2 inches, was starting to look more like a young woman than a teenager. Well, Callie asked. It's over. Legally, financially, officially over. And us? Nevaeh asked, hand on her swollen belly. 7 months pregnant now, carrying our son. We're free. Free, Callie repeated, testing the word. What do we do with free? Whatever we want, I said. For the first time in our lives, whatever we want. Rebecca approached, baby Sarah in her arms. Liam, thank you for what you said in there. She's innocent, I repeated. The sins of the father shouldn't pass to the child. That's what I'm hoping. She adjusted Sarah's blanket against the wind. I'm moving to California. My sister lives there. Fresh start. No one knows the story. Good. Will you? She hesitated. Will you tell Callie about her? When she's older? Sarah should know she has a sister, even if. When she's 18, I promised. If she wants to know, we'll tell her. Rebecca kissed Sarah's forehead, walked away into her new life. That was kind, Nevaeh said. That was necessary. Breaking cycles means making hard choices with grace. Andrew emerged from the courthouse, smiling broadly. The transfers will be complete by Monday. 10 million to your new accounts, another 5 million from Margaret's hidden assets to the victim's trust. And the rest? Creditors, taxes, lawyers, he shrugged. The Anderson empire officially dies with the paperwork. Good. Let it die. Let it all die. That night, in our new house, modest, clean, in a neighborhood where nobody knew our story, I found Callie in what would be the baby's nursery, painting the walls soft blue. You okay? I asked. Yeah, just thinking about names. For your brother? James, she said simply. After your real father, your first real father. James Hartley, I tested. I like it. Mom would have hated it, Callie said, then caught herself. Sorry. Don't be. She was your mother. You're allowed to have complicated feelings. Do you? Have complicated feelings? I thought about Emma, dead by her own hand in a jail cell, about the 6 months of real love before Margaret poisoned everything, about the woman who'd tried to kill me and the girl who'd loved me once. Every day, I admitted, but we're still here. We're still here. Callie dipped her brush in paint, added another stripe to the wall. Dad, promise me something. Anything. No secrets with James, no lies, no hidden past. When he's old enough, we tell him everything. Everything? Everything. The poison, the murders, the incest that wasn't, all of it. So he knows what we survived. So he knows what we chose instead. That's a heavy burden for a child. Lies are heavier, she said with too much wisdom for 15. Trust me. So I promised. And as I watched my daughter paint a nursery for a brother who would know no poison, carry no secrets, inherit no lies, I thought about cycles and choices, about the family we'd lost and the family we'd chosen. The Andersons were dead. The Hartleys were just beginning. And that, more than any revenge, was victory. Chapter 22. 2 months later, January. The federal courthouse in Boston was different from Providence, bigger, colder, all marble and justice without mercy. This wasn't about inheritance anymore. This was about Margaret's network, the 17 arrests that had followed her death, the system of corruption she'd built over 50 years. I sat in the witness box, raising my right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. The prosecutor, Janet Chen, sharp as winter, ambitious as Margaret had been, but cleaner, approached with a laptop. Mr. Hartley, you were married to Emma Anderson? Yes. And she attempted to poison you? Yes. Under whose direction? Margaret Martin, also known as Dorothy Brennan and Weston Rodriguez. All of whom are now deceased? Yes. She pulled up a video on the screen, Margaret's confession, recorded unknowingly in my house. Is this Margaret Martin? Yes. The video played. Margaret detailing every murder, every manipulation, every crime. The jury watched, horrified and fascinated. Mr. Hartley, How many people did Margaret Martin directly or indirectly murder? That we know of. 12. My birth parents, James and Susan Hartley. Archer Anderson. 3 teenage girls. Emma's adoptive parents. Weston's adoptive father, Tyler Morrison. 2 witnesses who disappeared in the 90s. And arguably Emma herself. She drove her to suicide. And the defendants here today? I looked at the defense table. 17 people, all connected to Margaret's network. Doctors who'd falsified records, cops who'd covered up crimes, lawyers who'd laundered money, city officials who'd taken bribes. They enabled her, for money, for favor, for power. They let her poison Providence for 50 years. Defense attorney stood Richard Blackwood. $1,000 suit, defended mob bosses usually. Mr. Hartley, isn't it true you also committed crimes? Breaking and entering, conspiracy, withholding evidence? I was trying to survive. By breaking the law? By matching Margaret's tactics. You can't fight poison with prayer. So you became like her? No. I became what was necessary to stop her. Then I chose to become something better. How convenient. This redemption after everyone who could contradict you is dead. Objection, Janet said. Argumentative. Sustained. Blackwood changed tactics. Mr. Hartley, you inherited $10 million from all this tragedy, correct? From my birth parents' insurance invested for 30 years. Nothing to do with Margaret. But convenient timing, wouldn't you say? Everyone dies, you get rich? Everyone died because Margaret made them toxic. I survived because I chose not to be. You chose? What about Emma? Did she choose? The question hung in the air like smoke from old fires. Emma chose to poison me, chose to fuck Weston, chose to help kill teenage girls, chose everything until she learned it was based on lies. Then she chose to die rather than face the truth. Cold words for a man talking about his wife, ex-wife, and mother of my daughter, and would-be killer. People can be multiple things, Mr. Blackwood. Emma was victim and villain both. So was Weston. So was everyone Margaret touched. Including you? Especially me. The difference is I chose to stop being both. That afternoon, Callie testified. 15 years old, wearing the dress we'd bought for court, looking older than her years but still my baby girl. Miss Hartley, Janet began gently, you discovered your mother's plot? Yes, I installed tracking apps, recorded conversations. I knew for a year before Dad found out. Why didn't you tell anyone? Because I needed proof. And because, she paused, looked at me, because part of me couldn't believe my mother would actually do it. Kill my dad. Even with evidence, I kept hoping I was wrong. Were you? No, she was going to kill him, then probably me. Uncle Weston, sorry. Weston Rodriguez said I would be a liability. How did that make you feel? Callie considered. Like an orphan. Like I'd already lost my mother to something worse than death to evil. Objection, Blackwood called. The witness is a minor, possibly coached. I'm 15, not 5, Callie interrupted. I know what evil looks like. It looks like your mother putting poison in your father's coffee. It looks like planning to kill your own daughter for money. Judge Harrison, 70 years old and tired of bullshit, nodded. The witness may continue. Miss Hartley, Janet asked, what would you like to see happen to these defendants? Prison. Long enough that they can't hurt other families, can't create other orphans. Even though they didn't directly kill anyone, they helped. They knew what Margaret was and helped anyway. That makes them guilty too. The defense's turn. Blackwood approached carefully. Attacking a 15-year-old girl was dangerous territory. Miss Hartley, you loved your mother? I did. Despite everything? Love doesn't stop just because someone becomes a monster. It just hurts more. Do you think she loved you? In her broken way, maybe. But she loved Weston more and money most. That must hurt. Everything about this hurts. But hurt fades. Dead doesn't. You seem very composed for someone who lost their mother. I lost my mother the day I saw her fucking Weston Rodriguez in my father's bed. Everything after was just grieving someone already gone. The courtroom went silent. That evening, in our hotel room, Callie broke down, crying, all the composure from court crumbling. "I did love her," she sobbed. "Even after everything, I loved her." "I know, baby. Does that make me weak?" "No. It makes you human. We can love people who hurt us. We just can't let them keep hurting us." I miss the mom she pretended to be. So do I. Really? Every day. The Emma I married, the one who existed for maybe 6 months, I miss her. But she was never real. Just Margaret's puppet, dancing on poisoned strings. Do you think she's in hell? The question every survivor asks. I think she's nowhere. I think she ended. And maybe that's mercy: no more pain, no more lies, no more being Margaret's weapon. And Margaret? If there's a hell, she's in it. If there's nothing, then she wasted 50 years of life on revenge that died with her. Which is worse? Both. Neither. It doesn't matter. They're gone. We're here. And the network? The 17? We'll go to prison. Janet's too good. The evidence too strong. And then we go home, have your brother, live clean lives, break the cycle. That simple? That hard, that necessary. 2 weeks later, the verdict. Guilty on all counts, all defendants. Sentences ranging from 5 to 25 years. Margaret's network was dead. Walking out of the courthouse into Boston winter, Nevaeh took my hand. "It's really over now," she said. "The legal stuff, the emotional stuff. Takes a lifetime," she finished. "But we have that. A lifetime. Together? Where else would I go? You're my son's father. Callie's my daughter in everything but blood. We're family." "Family," I repeated, the word clean in my mouth for the first time. As we drove back to Providence, to our small, clean house, to our small, clean life, I thought about justice and revenge, about cycles and choices. We'd won, not because they were dead that was just ending, not victory. We'd won because we'd refused to become them, and that in the end was the only victory that mattered. Chapter 23. 3 months later, April. The call came at 3 a.m. because bad news never sleeps. Nevaeh answered, listened, handed me the phone with a strange expression. "Mr. Hartley, this is Dr. Morrison at Rhode Island Hospital. We have a patient asking for you, Rebecca Torres." "Rebecca, is she okay?" "She's physically fine, but there's been an incident with her daughter." I was dressed and driving within minutes, leaving Nevaeh to watch sleeping Callie. The hospital at night felt like purgatory fluorescent lights, hushed voices, the smell of disinfectant and dread. Rebecca sat in the psychiatric ward's visitor room, hollow-eyed, holding a photo of baby Sarah. "She's gone," she said without preamble. "What? How?" "My sister's boyfriend. I didn't know he was, like Weston. I didn't know until I found him in her room and I—" She paused, hands shaking. "I killed him, Liam. Beat him to death with a baseball bat. Jesus, where's Sarah? Safe. Police have her, but they won't give her back to me. Not after what I did." She looked at me with desperate eyes. "They want to put her in foster care. Weston's baby in foster care. She'll grow up like him, poisoned, broken." "No, she won't." "How can you know?" "Because we won't let her." I pulled out my phone, called Andrew Davis despite the hour. "Andrew, I need you at Rhode Island Hospital, now." By dawn, we had a plan. Emergency custody hearing, character witnesses, psychological evaluations. Rebecca would plead temporary insanity. Any mother would snap finding a predator with their baby. But she needed someone to take Sarah while she dealt with legal issues. "I can't ask you," Rebecca started. "You're not asking. I'm offering." "She's Weston's daughter." "She's also your daughter, and Sarah Winter's namesake, and innocent." The custody hearing was that afternoon. Rhode Island moved fast when babies were involved. Judge Catherine Wells, who'd overseen family court for 20 years, reviewed the case with growing horror. "Ms. Torres, you killed a man who was molesting my daughter, allegedly. I saw him, and instead of calling police, I protected my baby, like any mother would." The prosecutor, different from Janet, this one young and eager, interrupted. "Your Honor, Ms. Torres has shown violent tendencies. The child's father was Weston Rodriguez, who we all know is dead," I said, standing, "and irrelevant. I'm offering to take temporary custody while Rebecca deals with legal matters." And you are? Liam Hartley, former Anderson. Weston tried to kill me, but I'm still offering to help his daughter. Judge Wells studied me. Why? Because cycles have to break somewhere. Because that baby didn't choose her father. Because Rebecca's only crime was protecting her. She killed a man, Mr. Hartley. To save her daughter from becoming another victim. How is that different from self-defense? Legally, you're right. Morally, any parent here would have done the same. The judge considered. Behind us, reporters scribbled the Anderson saga had one more chapter, apparently. Mr. Hartley, you have a 15-year-old daughter and a pregnant partner? Yes. And you're willing to add an infant to that? Temporarily, until Rebecca can reclaim her. And if she can't, if she's convicted? I looked at Rebecca, thought of Emma, of cycles and choices. Then we raise her, away from her history, away from poison. That's a significant commitment. Your Honor, Andrew stood. My client has already demonstrated exceptional grace regarding the Rodriguez estate, ensuring funds for this child's future. He's offering home, stability, love. What's the alternative? Foster care for Weston Rodriguez's daughter? We all know how that ends. Judge Wells made her decision. Temporary custody to Liam Hartley, pending resolution of Ms. Torres's case, monthly reviews, full oversight. Rebecca sobbed, relief and grief mixed. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, I said. This is just beginning. That night, I brought Sarah to our house. Nevaeh held her, this baby who looked too much like the man who'd tried to kill us. You sure about this? She asked. No, but sure isn't required for doing right. Callie came downstairs, saw the baby, understood immediately. Weston's daughter? Rebecca's daughter. Just Rebecca's daughter. Callie studied Sarah's face. She has his eyes. She has her own eyes. Everything else is projection. Can we love her, knowing who made her? We can try, and trying is enough. 2 weeks later, Rebecca pled guilty to manslaughter, diminished capacity. The boyfriend's record 3 prior arrests for child abuse helped. She got 5 years, probably out in 2. I'll get her back, she promised during visiting hours, Sarah in my arms. I know. Don't let her know. About Weston, about any of it. She'll need to know eventually. When she's older, when she can understand that blood doesn't determine destiny. I promise. And Liam, what you're doing. Emma never deserved you. Emma never existed. Just Margaret's creation, dancing on strings. Still, the man you are, choosing to help Weston's child after everything. I'm choosing to help your child. Who her father was matters less than who her mother chooses to be. As I left with Sarah, I thought about abortion, not the medical kind, but the spiritual kind. The choice to abort cycles of violence, to terminate generational poison. Emma had aborted the fake pregnancy that never was. Margaret had aborted her humanity for revenge. Weston had aborted his conscience for greed. But we were choosing different abortions, aborting hate, aborting revenge, aborting the poison that had defined the Anderson legacy. That night, Nevaeh went into labor. 2 weeks early, probably stress from suddenly having an infant in the house. James Hartley was born at 11:47 p.m., healthy, screaming, perfect. I held my son in one arm, Sarah and the other Weston's daughter and my son, enemies' children being raised as siblings. This is insane, Nevaeh said, exhausted but smiling. This is redemption, I countered. Same thing, maybe. Callie took a photo of me with both babies, looking overwhelmed but determined. For the family album, she said. The real family, the chosen family. Later, alone with the babies while Nevaeh slept and Callie did homework, I made them a promise. You'll know the truth when you're ready, all of it, the poison, the murders, the choices. But you'll know it as history, not destiny. You'll know it as what we survived, not what you'll become. You are not your blood. You are your choices. James gurgled. Sarah slept. Outside, Providence moved through its ancient rhythms, unaware that in one small house, one small family was performing the miracle of breaking cycles. The abortion was complete, not of life, but of death, not of future, but of past. We were keeping the babies, losing the poison. and that was the only abortion that mattered. Chapter 24. 6 months later, October 1-year anniversary of the fire. The wedding was small, just family, if you could call our strange collection that. Nevaeh wore simple white. I wore my only suit that hadn't burned. Callie stood as maid of honor, baby James in her arms. Rebecca, out on day release, held Sarah. Do you, Liam Hartley, take Nevi Williams to be your lawfully wedded wife? The courthouse ceremony room was nothing fancy linoleum floors, plastic flowers, fluorescent lights, perfect for us. No pretense, no performance, just truth. I do. Do you, Nevaeh Williams, take Liam Hartley to be your lawfully wedded husband? Absolutely. Judge Wells, the same who'd granted us custody of Sarah, smiled. Then by the power vested in me by Rhode Island, I pronounce you husband and wife. We kissed, gentle, real. No passion for show, just partnership acknowledged. Can we eat now? Callie asked. James is getting fussy. The reception was at our restaurant. Nevaeh had insisted on buying it with part of the Hartley Trust, turning it into Providence's best-kept secret. Good food, fair prices, no poison. Jeremiah came, brought his new girlfriend. Andrew Davis made a toast about redemption through legal channels. A few cops who'd helped us. A few nurses from the hospital. Small, clean, real. No big wedding? Rebecca asked, Sarah sleeping against her chest. Had a big wedding once, I said. Look how that ended. This is better. Honest. Everything's honest now. Has to be. She was doing well therapy twice a week, community service, rebuilding. The boyfriend she'd killed turned out to have 4 victims. She'd probably saved Sarah's life. I get Sarah back full-time next month, she said. I know. You'll miss her. We'll still see her. Shared trauma makes strange families. Is that what we are? Family? What else? We survived Margaret together. That makes us something. Across the room, Callie danced with James in her arms, teaching her brother to spin. 16 now, she'd grown beautiful but careful Emma's face with Archer's suspicious eyes. Boys at school called her Ice Queen. She preferred it that way. Dad, she called. Speech time. I stood, tapped my glass. The small crowd quieted. A year ago, my house burned down. My wife was in jail. My life was ash. I looked at each face. Today, I have a new house, a new wife, new children, new name. But more importantly, I have truth. The Anderson legacy was built on lies. Who was whose child? Who deserved what? Who could destroy whom? Every relationship was transactional. Every love conditional. But look at us now. Callie, who chose to stay with the father her mother tried to kill. Nevaeh, who chose to love a man who came with more baggage than an airport. Rebecca, who trusted us with her daughter despite everything. James and Sarah, who'll grow up knowing the truth but not being defined by it. We're not the family we were born into. We're the family we chose, and that choice made daily, consciously, honestly, that's the only legacy worth leaving. To chosen family, everyone toasted. Later cleaning up, Nevaeh found me in the kitchen crying. Hey, she said softly. You okay? I keep thinking about Emma. She would have been 32 today. You remembered her birthday? Hard to forget. She made such a production of it every year. Do you wish she was here? I wish the Emma I thought I married was here, but she never existed, did she? Just Margaret's creation, programmed to destroy. Maybe. Or maybe there was a real Emma underneath, trying to get out. Does it matter now? It matters to Callie. She needs to believe her mother was more than just poison. That night, I found Callie at Emma's grave unmarked, but we knew where it was. You come here often? I asked. Sometimes, when I need to remember that she was real, that it all really happened. Any regrets? About her dying? No. She needed to die for us to live. But, she paused. I regret not knowing her. The real her, if she existed. Maybe she didn't exist. Maybe Margaret hollowed her out so completely there was nothing left but performance. That's sadder than being evil. Yes, it is. We stood in silence, October wind sharp with memory. Dad, when you marry someone, you're saying they're your family, right? Yes. So when Mom married you, she was saying you were her family, but she was also planning to kill you. Yes. How do you trust Nivi after that? Because Nivi earned trust through actions, not words. She saved my life, helped catch killers, chose us when she could have walked away. But what if she's performing too? Then at least she's committed to the performance. At some point, pretending to love becomes indistinguishable from actual love. That's terrifying. That's marriage. We walked home through Providence streets that had seen everything: Puritan zealots, slave traders, mobsters, and now us. The city endured, absorbed poison, and kept breathing. At home, Nevaeh was nursing James while Sarah slept in her bassinet. Domestic, normal, impossible a year ago. "How was the grave?" she asked. "Quiet. Dead. Like it should be." "Callie's worried you're performing, like Emma did." "I know. She asked me point blank last week." "What did you say?" "The truth. That I started out playing a role, the helpful waitress, the supportive ally. But somewhere along the way, the performance became real. I fell in love with the mess of you. The mess of us. Especially the mess. Perfect's boring. Broken, but healing. That's interesting. And if Margaret was still alive, if she came back, then we'd fight her. Together. Because that's what family does. Even manufactured family. All families are manufactured. Some in wombs, some in choices. Ours just happens to be conscious about it. That night, I dreamed of Emma for the last time. Not the real Emma, she never appeared in dreams, too slippery even for subconscious, but the Emma I'd invented. The one who loved me, who was faithful, who existed. "You replaced me quickly," Dream Emma said. "I replaced the space you never actually filled." "With the waitress? With someone real?" "I was real. For 6 months, I was real." "No. For 6 months, you performed really well." "Same thing." "No. Performance ends. Real endures. And if Nevaeh's performing, then at least she's performing love instead of poison." Dream Emma smiled, sad and knowing. "You're right. I was never real. But Callie is. Love her enough for both of us." "I already do." "Good. Then I can stop haunting you." "You were never haunting me. I was haunting myself with you." "Same thing." "No, but close enough." I woke to James crying. Nevaeh already getting up to feed him. Real life, real problems, real solutions. "Bad dream?" she asked. "Last dream, about Emma." "Good. She's been dead long enough. A year. A lifetime. Same thing." "No," she smiled, "but close enough." I got up to help with James, checked on Sarah, looked in on Callie, all sleeping, all breathing, all real. This was family. Not blood. Sarah wasn't ours. Callie was only half mine. James was the only biological connection. But family nonetheless. New blood to replace the poisoned blood. Chosen blood over given blood. And that made all the difference. Chapter 25. 5 years later, the twins came on a Tuesday, not babies, but ghosts from Margaret's past that even she hadn't known about. I was in the restaurant office reviewing accounts when 2 women walked in, identical, 60-ish, severe faces that tickled memory. "Liam Hartley?" one asked. "Yes." "We're Dorothy Brennan's daughters, her real daughters." The coffee mug slipped from my hand, shattered on the floor. "That's impossible. Dorothy Brennan became Margaret." "No," the second twin said. "Our mother was Dorothy Brennan, the real Dorothy Brennan. The woman you knew as Margaret stole her identity after killing her." They sat down uninvited, pulled out documents, birth certificates, photos, DNA tests. "Our mother was a nurse in Boston," the first twin, Anna, explained. "She had us young, gave us up for adoption. Different families, we only found each other 5 years ago." "Through DNA testing," the second Clara added. Imagine our surprise when we discovered our biological mother had supposedly lived in Providence for 50 years, had a son named Weston, had died in prison. But that wasn't your mother. No, that was her roommate, Martha Gillespie. They were in nursing school together. Martha was unstable, obsessed with our mother's life. When Mom died in a car accident in 1973, Martha took her identity. Why? Because Dorothy Brennan had a clean record, good reputation, no family looking for her. We'd been adopted out. Martha had warrants, debts, a history of violence. I stared at the photos. Young Dorothy Brennan looked nothing like Margaret, but young Martha Gillespie. "Jesus. Gets worse," Anna said. We tracked Martha's real history. She'd been institutionalized twice for delusions. Specifically, delusions of grandeur and revenge fantasies. She was insane? Clinically, but smart enough to hide it. To build a 50-year revenge plot on a man who'd never actually wronged her. Archer destroyed her family's home. Archer never met Martha Gillespie. That was another lie. She fixated on him because he was rich, powerful, everything she wasn't. Clara pulled out more papers. She invented the entire backstory. No demolished family home, no suicide parents, no connection at all. Just a crazy woman who wanted to destroy something beautiful. Then Weston was probably stolen, like you were, like Emma claimed to be. Martha couldn't have children. The institutionalizations included forced sterilization. Everyone was stolen or bought. I sat back, processing. Everything had been built on delusions. Why tell me? I asked. Because we're suing. The estate, the state, everyone who enabled her. Our mother's name was destroyed by that woman's crimes. We want it cleared. And you want money? Yes, Anna said bluntly. Our mother was a good woman, a nurse who helped people. Martha turned her into a monster in public memory. We deserve compensation. The estates are gone, dissolved, given to victims. We are victims. Our mother's memory is a victim. Your mother's been dead for 50 years. And Martha spent those 50 years destroying her name. They had a point, but they also had timing. What do you really want? I asked. Clara smiled, Margaret Sharp. We've been investigating for 5 years. We know where Martha hid the real money. What real money? The $40 million she embezzled from Archer over the years, hidden in accounts under our mother's maiden name. Technically, as Dorothy Brennan's biological children, we're the legal heirs. That money was stolen. From a dead man whose estate was dissolved. It's nobody's money now. Might as well be ours. Or it could go to the victims' fund. We are victims, Anna repeated. Our mother's name, our family history, all destroyed by a mad woman's fantasy. They weren't wrong, but they weren't right either. I'll make you a deal, I said. Half to you, half to the victims' fund. And you sign papers saying Dorothy Brennan was an innocent whose identity was stolen. 70-30. 50-50 or nothing. I know judges who'd freeze those accounts permanently rather than let you profit from tragedy. They looked at each other. Twin telepathy working. Deal, they said together. The paperwork took 3 months. The twins got $20 million. The victims' fund got $20 million. Dorothy Brennan's real name was cleared headlines reading, True Identity of Providence Poisoner Revealed. Margaret Martin never existed. But the best part came later when I told Callie. So Margaret wasn't even Margaret? She asked, now 21 in law school herself. She was nobody. Martha Gillespie, a delusional woman who built a 50-year revenge plot on absolutely nothing. That's pathetic. Yes. All those deaths, all that poison for a delusion? Yes. Callie laughed, not happy, but released. Mom died for nothing. Literally nothing. She destroyed our family for a crazy woman's fantasy. How does that make you feel? Free. If it was all meaningless, then we don't have to carry meaning from it. We can just let it go. That night, family dinner, a tradition we'd started 5 years ago. Callie, home from law school. Neva, pregnant with our 3rd child. James, 5 now, obsessed with dinosaurs. Sarah, visiting with Rebecca for the weekend, 6 and looking nothing like Weston except the eyes. Tell the story, James demanded, as he did every month. Which story? I asked, though I knew. The poison story. Once upon a time, I began, the sanitized version we'd created, there was a very sick woman who thought poison was medicine. She gave it to everyone, thinking she was helping. But poison is bad, James protested, as always. Yes, but she was so sick she couldn't tell the difference. So she poisoned and poisoned until finally people figured out she was sick, not helpful. What happened to her? She went away, far away where she couldn't poison anyone else. And the people she poisoned. Some got better, some didn't. But the ones who got better made sure to never use poison themselves. Even when they were angry? Especially when they were angry, they used truth instead. Truth is the antidote to poison. I like truth, James decided. Me too, Sarah added. She knew her father was bad and dead, nothing more. When she was 18, we'd tell her more if she wanted. Rebecca and I had agreed. After dinner, I stood on the deck Nevaeh and I had built ourselves, looking out at Providence lights. The Anderson estate was now a shelter, helping 100 families. The restaurant employed 20 people, all survivors of something. Callie was heading for law school graduation, planning to be a prosecutor. James and Sarah were growing up poison-free. The twins, Anna and Clara, had sent a letter. They were using Dorothy Brennan's name to start a nursing scholarship. The real Dorothy would help heal people after all. You okay? Nevaeh asked, joining me, hand on her belly. Yeah, just thinking about cycles. And? Margaret Martha, whatever. She started a cycle of poison, but she also ended it. Everyone she touched is either dead or conscious of poison now. Aware. Careful. We'll never unconsciously perpetuate it. So she did us a favor? No, but she made us conscious, and consciousness is its own gift. You're getting philosophical in your old age. 43 isn't old. It's older, wiser maybe. Wise enough to know I know nothing. That's the beginning of wisdom. We stood together, watching the city breathe, this place that had seen so much poison and survived. What do you want to name her? Nevaeh asked. Her? The doctor let it slip. Girl. Susan, after my birth mother. Susan Hartley. Clean name. Clean start. Number 3. Lucky number 3. Nothing lucky about it, just choice. Same thing sometimes. No, I said, pulling her close, but close enough. Inside, Callie was teaching James and Sarah to play chess, explaining that the queen was the most powerful piece. Why? Sarah asked. Because she can move any direction, any distance. She's not limited like the other pieces. I want to be a queen, Sarah decided. You already are, Callie told her. You just have to learn the moves. I watched them, my daughter teaching Weston's daughter to be powerful, to be strategic, to be more than blood. This was victory, not the deaths, not the revelations, not even the money. This chosen family choosing to love, choosing to teach, choosing to grow beyond poison. Margaret, Martha, nobody had tried to destroy the Anderson family. She'd succeeded, but from those ashes the Hartley family had risen. And we were untouchable because we were conscious, careful, chosen. We were the antidote, and we were winning. Chapter 26. 10 years after the fire, the law school auditorium was packed. Callie stood at the podium, 30 now, but looking timeless. Emma's beauty refined by suffering into something stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, she began her valedictorian speech, we are here to celebrate surviving. Law school, yes, but more than that. Surviving systems that sometimes protect predators, excuse poisoners, enable evil. I sat in the front row between Nevaeh and Rebecca. James, 15, fidgeted in his suit. Sarah, 16, filmed on her phone. 5-year-old Susan played with a toy dinosaur, inherited from her brother. 10 years ago, Callie continued, my mother tried to poison my father. My uncle, who was actually my grandfather, tried to burn our house down. My grandmother, who wasn't actually my grandmother, orchestrated 50 years of revenge for something that never happened. Nervous laughter from the crowd. They knew the Anderson story, but not like this. I could have become them, poisoned by poison, broken by breaking. Instead, I chose law, not for revenge, but for revelation, for forcing truth into light. She looked at me directly. My father taught me that we are not our blood, we are our choices, and today we choose to enter a system that failed my family, failed the Andersons, failed Providence, and fix it. We are not here to become lawyers. We are here to become antibodies, to recognize poison and neutralize it before it spreads. Some of you know my story, others know pieces. Here's what matters. Everyone who poisoned my family is dead. Everyone who enabled them is in prison. And everyone who survived is here, choosing to build instead of burn. She raised her water glass. We'd banned champagne from family events. Too many memories. To the class of 2038, may we be the generation that breaks cycles instead of continuing them. The applause was thunderous. Callie had won every award, every honor, but more importantly, she'd won herself. After the ceremony, we gathered at Archer's grave, something we did every year. Not to mourn, but to remember. You would have hated her, I told the headstone. Too honest, too direct, too unwilling to play games. He would have loved me, Callie corrected. I'm exactly what he pretended to be, actually self-made. You're Anderson-made, just not the way he intended. I'm Hartley-made, she corrected. We all are. James had brought flowers he always did, studying the dates on the stone. He died before I was born, he said, as always. Long before. But he's still my grandfather? Legally, spiritually, not biologically. Biology doesn't matter? Not as much as choice. Sarah studied the neighboring stones. We'd bought plots for the whole family. Archer alone on one side, space for us on the other. The Anderson side would stay empty. The Hartley side would fill with time. Will Mom be buried here? Sarah asked Rebecca. I'll be cremated, Rebecca said. Scattered somewhere clean. Why? Because I don't want to be permanent. Don't want anyone visiting me out of obligation. We'd visit out of love. Better to carry me in memory than ground. Sarah considered this. She'd grown thoughtful. Careful, knowing your father was a monster made you suspicious of yourself. Where's Emma buried? Susan asked suddenly. Our youngest had just learned the full story, simplified but honest. Unmarked grave, Callie answered. By her choice, in her will. Why? She didn't want to be found, didn't want to be remembered. But you remember her. I remember who she pretended to be. The real Emma, if she existed, I never met. We moved to Margaret's grave, also unmarked, but we knew where. Someone had left dead flowers. We never figured out who. She wasn't even real, James said, understanding the story better each year. Just some crazy lady pretending. She was real enough, I said. Real enough to kill, to poison, to destroy. But not real enough to last, Nevaeh added. Not real enough to build anything lasting. We're lasting, Susan said confidently. We're real. Yes, we are. Final stop. The Anderson estate, now called Phoenix House Shelter for Domestic Violence Victims, Rehab Center, New Start Facility. Tegan's money, Margaret's hidden fortune, all transformed into healing. The director, Samantha Chen, met us at the entrance. Mr. Hartley, Ms. Callie, congratulations on law school. Thank you. How many residents now? 43 women, 17 children, all escaping poison of various kinds. Any Andersons? I asked, our running joke. No, but 3 Margarets. We're teaching them to be Maggies instead. Inside, the house I'd burned in metaphorically and literally was unrecognizable. Walls knocked down, opened up, filled with light. The kitchen where Emma poisoned my coffee was now a communal cooking space where women taught each other recipes from their cultures. This is my favorite part. Samantha led us to what used to be Archer's office, now a children's library. Walls covered in drawings of families all kinds, all configurations, all chosen. Some of these kids have never had books before, she explained. Never had anyone read to them without agenda. Susan immediately went to the picture books, started reading to younger children. She had that gift making people feel safe. Dad, James pulled me aside. That lady over there, she looks familiar. I looked. A young woman, maybe 20, holding a toddler. She had Weston's cheekbones, Emma's hair. Excuse me, I approached carefully. I'm Liam Hartley. She looked up, frightened, then recognizing. I know who you are. She paused. I'm nobody. Just staying here temporarily. What's your name? Does it matter? Everything matters. Jennifer Rodriguez. My blood chilled. Rodriguez? My father was Weston Rodriguez. My mother was 16 when I was born. She killed herself when I was 3. One of the girls Weston destroyed. One we'd missed. I didn't know you existed. Nobody did. Foster care, group homes, the usual. She held her son tighter. I'm not here for money or anything, just needed somewhere safe. From who? My boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. He was like my father. I have a type, apparently. Not anymore. No, not anymore. I called Callie over, introduced them. Watched Callie's face cycle through shock, calculation, acceptance. You're my cousin, Callie said simply. Technically. I'm nobody's anything. Wrong. You're a survivor. That makes you family. I don't care what you want. I care what you need. You need lawyers? I'm a lawyer. You need protection? We know judges. You need money for your son? There's a victim's fund. Why would you help me? Because poison spreads unless we consciously stop it. And we're very conscious. Jennifer started crying. Her son may be 2. Weston's eyes again, the curse continuing, reached for Callie. She took him, natural despite never wanting kids herself. What's his name? She asked. Michael, after nobody. I wanted him to start clean. Good choice. We spent the afternoon there. Callie set up legal protections for Jennifer. Navaye arranged job training at the restaurant. Rebecca offered babysitting. The kids played together, unconscious of history. We're collecting Weston's children like Pokemon, Neva whispered to me. We're collecting survivors. They happen to be his children. Same thing? Close enough. That night, our last family dinner before Callie moved to Boston for her prosecutor job, we sat around our extended table, blood family, chosen family, found family, all mixed. Toast, Susan demanded, our tradition. I stood, looked at each face. Callie, brilliant and driven. Navaya, pregnant again with our 4th. Last one, I swear. James, starting to look like me but acting like himself. Sarah, Rebecca's daughter but our bonus child. Susan, pure light unmarked by darkness. Jennifer and Michael, newest additions to our strange collection. To Archer Anderson, I began, surprising everyone, who built an empire on poison and had the wisdom to destroy it before he died. To Emma Anderson, who loved me for 6 months genuinely and taught me that even liars can have moments of truth. To Weston Rodriguez, whose evil was so pure it revealed itself, saving us from subtler poisons. To Margaret Martin, who never existed, Martha Gillespie, who did, and Dorothy Brennan, who deserved better than both. But mostly, I raised my glass higher, to us, the Hartleys and friends, who took poison and made medicine, who took breaking and made building, who took lies and made truth. To the ones who survived, Callie added. To the ones who didn't, Rebecca continued. To the ones still fighting, Jennifer said quietly. To family, James said, understanding more than his 15 years should allow. To choice, Sarah added. To love without poison, Susan concluded, 5 years old and already wise. We drank water, juice, nothing that could hide poison, and I thought about cycles. Archer had started one, thinking money could buy meaning. Margaret had twisted it, thinking revenge could heal wounds. Emma had perpetuated it, thinking performance could replace identity. Weston had embodied it, thinking violence could create value. But we had broken it. Not through revenge, but through consciousness. Not through violence, but through choice. Not through poison, but through persistent, careful love. Later, after everyone had gone home or to bed, I stood in my backyard, not the Anderson estate, just a regular house in a regular neighborhood, and found Orion overhead. The hunter forever frozen in his moment of victory or defeat, depending on interpretation. You won, Navaya said, joining me. We survived. That's winning. No, winning implies someone lost. We just chose different. Semantics. Everything's semantics when you're building new language for old patterns. She took my hand. Tell me the truth. Any regrets? Every day. But not about the big things. Just, I wish I'd known earlier. Saved those girls. Saved Emma from herself, maybe. Can't save anyone from themselves. But you can offer alternatives. Which we're doing. Phoenix House, the restaurant, the kids we're raising. Is it enough? It's everything. We went inside, checked on sleeping children, locked doors from habit, not fear, went to bed in our ordinary room in our ordinary house, living our extraordinary ordinary life. The Anderson curse was broken. The Hartley blessing had begun, and somewhere, if there was justice or just poetry, Archer was finally at peace, knowing his real legacy wasn't money or murder, but the moment one person chose to stop spreading poison. That person was me. But it could have been anyone. That's the secret. Anyone can break a cycle. Anyone can choose different. Anyone can turn poison into medicine. You just have to choose. And keep choosing. Every day. Forever. The end. In memory of all the real Emmas, Westons, and Margarets, may their poisons become someone's medicine. And for all the Liams and Callies, may you choose wisely, love carefully, and break every cycle that needs breaking. The blood legacy ends here. The chosen legacy begins now.